that booty go.
Welcome to Grindhouse. Ho-ho! I will tell you your future. Yes. Join us. The Grindhouse opens soon. I will tell you your future. I come from the year 2050. This will be the most successful stream and gaming Grindhouse ever! Grindhouse!
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
I'm trying to use the phone! And may the short spirit join!
Watch that booty go.
Woo!
Over the fullness. Oh yeah, you can't get away that easily. I'm coming for you, gymnast. I'm coming for you.
Oh, baby. Let's go. What's up, Grinders? Let's start with the sirens. Hell, start the goddamn sirens. Hit me with the friggin' sirens. God damn it. Sirens! Sirens! It's that time. The Grindhouse is open! Grinders, are you ready? Are you ready? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're going wild tonight, baby. Woo! My God, I have things going all over the place. But first, shout out to over 60 people here in the Grindhouse knocking on the doors. Banging, saying, let us in. You guys are in here. Enjoy the hors d'oeuvres and the drinks. Have one for me. I'm drinking Long Island iced teas tonight. But guys, we always gotta go to the balcony. And we got, who I want to thank right here. I want a DJ H32X, member for 5 months. 5-month grinder. This is a weird deal. He says independent publish their own stuff everywhere still. It's just a revenue stream of buying them to keep from Microsoft from buying them. Interesting take, DJ. We will come to that. It is a topic. I really kept it. We're going to be talking a lot about that tonight. But first, we always got to shout out, got to take a look to the bleachers, to the balconies. VIP grinders. Thank you again for supporting the channel. Here's a toast to you guys for believing in the gaming Grindhouse. I want to thank you. Shout out to those. DJ, you're one of them on that list. Herman Holt's doing those splits, not messing around with me.
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
Oh my. We got to get some more emotes in here now. We're going to get the Bungie emotes. Oh, damn, pause. Open bar, baby. Open bar, the Grindhouse. Thank you again, VIP grinders. They just added a new studio to the party. Herman Holtz splits. And thank you, VIP grinders. If you want to be a VIP grinder and be on here, the Herman Holtz doing splits, you could hit the join button and be a VIP grinder. Have wonderful emotes as Toolman showing with the Herman Holtz splits. And who are you doing the Xbox donuts? They can be buying Dunkin' Donuts next. But yes, you could use these wonderful emotes in the chat if being a VIP grinder. And plus, you get a name on the VIP grinds board. Woo! And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Frogs. He's back. He got his electricity. Frogs, how you doing? You got your electricity back, right? I think Frog's still on mute. He's here. But Frog got his electricity back. He's back. And he's wilding, man. He's right. Here he is.
Man, I was talking. I was muted.
Holy man, it's one of those days, Frog.
Man.
Yeah, I got you.
One of those days. We got a lot to talk about.
Hell yeah, man. We're going right to the freaking grind.
We got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. Frog got his electricity back, and he came back with a vengeance.
Hey, man, I don't know what's been going on with this weather, but that little baby volcano that was in the middle of the ocean just destroyed the freaking Earth's climate. Because, man, it's cold down here.
I know. I heard they were covering up flowers and stuff. Like,
man, I woke up.
Freaking flowers.
I woke up yesterday morning. No, this morning. I woke up this morning. There was frost on my car. I was like, I've never seen this. Frog. What is going on?
My car's buried in a foot of snow. You guys are putting tops over flowers. My flowers are covered with a foot of snow over there. I'm digging out. God damn! I had to do 2 days of shoveling.
That sucks.
And I used my Snow Joe, which I thought it was a toy. I was like, but actually, it did a pretty good job. I thought I was gonna go out there with Fisher Price bubbles, but it actually worked. Battery operated snowblower, but I used electricity, and I know I got laughed at, but you know what? I needed something. I was tired of doing the goddamn friggin' shovel all the time. Iguanas fell on Frog's head. That's right. I heard the iguanas are falling from trees.
Hey, man. Yes, they're falling.
Phil Ness got it. That Phil Ness went airborne. Oh, shit. Phil Ness went airborne. Got the iguanas. Oh, man. 3-for-3 to stunt doubles of Bungie. Hell yeah, stunt double. We got stunt doubles. Dude. Oh, man, what a day. What a day. All right, we're going to the grinds board. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, nobody wants to hear about the weather reports. We're going into the grinds board. There we go. Let's go. Where's my intro? Cough it up, grinders. guys got a sneak peek of what the Grind Spoilers entailing tonight. Over 100 people watching. Hit that like button, everybody. Let's get over 100 likes. And know what? I think I need about just about 10 more subscribers, 8 more subscribers to hit 1,200. And maybe if I'm feeling giddy and I drink another Long Island iced tea, which, damn, this glass is dirty. Whatever. Maybe I'll do a giveaway. I got some credits itching in my pants. Pause. Give away some giveaways to the good old grinders supporting this channel. But yes, let's get those 1,200. Need about 8 more, 9 more. Right there, right on the cusp of greatness. But we got our grinds topics here. We got the hot 6. To the grinds board. Uncharted remaster, Final Fantasy news, which I caught a wind of it. I was busy today. I didn't get all the Final Fantasy news. Halo at 20 million checking it out. Oh, Jesus. PS Now, GTA Vice City, and Discord integration. Not that I thought it was going to be, but maybe it's a start. Game Pass
I got
Effect.
mine.
Oh, you got it.
I already got mine. I got my PSN on my Discord.
See, I didn't even do my thing yet. Game Pass Effect forcing an industry to do something. Oh, I got some goodness for there. A good friend of the show, Paris, will be here. Oh, damn. And Herman does the split. The biggest challenge. We're going to talk the most here, man. Hot sex. Oh, Jesus. Nick, pause. Sony acquires Bungie. Jeez. I didn't say I told you so, but I goddamn told you so. We said it here. I said it on Salty's podcast. Frog said it here. Dude, we knew it. It was an ultimate kick to the Phil Spencer Guignones. And all that. Sony goes for the throat, man. They don't mess around. Herman Holtz got off his yacht. Who said that in the Grindhouse? That's right. I told you he was. You don't park. Herman Holtz unbuttoned that second button. I told you. People said they were poking at the Microsoft beast. That thing's a goddamn Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Phil Ness and his marshmallows. Herman Holtz unbuttoned his top button, said, "Get me off this goddamn yacht. I got shit to do." Phil thinks he could go buy Call of Duty. I'm going to hit him where it hurts. And he came out there, unbuttoned his top button, and Herman Holtz went over there and wrote some checks. And broke some bones. Dude, he got off his yacht. He's like, "Park my yacht right in front of Bungie." And Herman Holtz said, you don't poke at Herman Holtz when he's on his yacht with his martinis. Phil Spencer's there. He's the Puff Marshmallow Man. You can poke at him. He's like the Pillsbury Doughboy. You poke at Microsoft, they go, games. Nah, that's all right. We'll get to that. Herman Holtz doing the splits. And we're going to be, Tex-Mex Woody got it. He got the Herman Holtz doing the splits. Oh, holy crap. Uncharted remaster. Frogs. Call of Booty Blackout. Dude, I remember that. That was a funny meme, man. Call of Booty. But yes, Uncharted remaster. Dude, I've been playing that. Oh my God.
Amazing. Still amazing. It doesn't there are games they've come out this year and last year that still don't even come up close to what that game is doing with the attention to detail.
I know, man.
And I think that honestly, Naughty Dogs, they are masters of their craft, as well as a lot of other studios. But when you look at Naughty Dog and you just see the things they can do, and don't get me wrong, it's not all good news because there's a lot of bad things I don't like about this. But just when you go back and I beat both these games.
Oh,
but
yeah.
When you go back and you play them, and the $10 upgrade to me, it's like, oh, I just paid $10 for a movie ticket. That's how I look at it. I paid $10 for a movie ticket, which I was going to go see anyway.
We get the free movie ticket, to go see the movie.
But what I'll say is, masters of their craft, man. Like when you look at just the small stuff this game has been doing, you're like, oh, okay, I see why when they worked on this Uncharted and that Uncharted. When The Last of Us 2 came out, you're like, oh, it took some stuff and they worked on it and they made it better and better. It's like every game gets better and better and better. And I think that whatever they pretty much put their hands on, as long as they have great storytelling, because I think Uncharted just tells an amazing story. I'm not too sure about the movie, but I'm still going to go see it.
Yeah, we'll see.
But what I'll say is like the way they tell their stories and the way this is, Uncharted was the reason I bought a PlayStation 3. I'd never seen a game on any console that looked that amazing. And I never forget it. And that's the reason.
You're my number one customer.
Uncharted is the reason I bought a PlayStation 3, the first Uncharted. and it's also the reason it kind of kept me on PS3 for the kind of like the ending cycle of the 360 generation, because I kept red ring after red ring, and I was
Yeah.
oh, I'm playing these Uncharted games, and they're awesome. Uncharted 2 is still, I would say, to me, just that beginning that just blew my
I tell
mind.
you. But how doesn't it look like the way I see? I'm switching between fidelity and performance mode. But I tell you, man,
and I'm gonna
it
be
looks
honest
so
with you.
good.
I think yeah, it looks good, but between like the 4K and the 1440, like I don't see a big enough difference to me. And I'm playing on a nice, LG 4K. I don't see a big enough difference
Between
to
the
play
two of
at
them, because it's like
to
1440
play
and
at
4K.
4K 30. Like once I start playing 1440p 60, I like even going to 4K 30. I was like, graphically, there's not enough big enough difference to me to be like, I gotta play this at 4K 30. So I chose the 1440p 60, and I even tried it at 120, and holy crap, that thing is wow. 120 is a big difference,
Yeah.
but
It goes to
I'll take
1080p, I think, from there, right?
but exactly.
Yeah.
That 1440p is that sweet spot.
Mhm.
And I'm just starting to see that, especially with this generation of consoles, with PlayStation 5 and Series X, and possibly, well, let's just say Series X and PS5. I'm not even going to say S. With the premium consoles, I think that's the sweetest spot. And I think it's a missed opportunity for these TV developers, Sony included, LG, whoever, to not go out there and maybe do a monitor or a TV type monitor that's priced reasonably for some of these guys that are on computer side that can say, hey, you know what? I can play this thing at 1440p with this monitor at do a 1440p 120 or whatever you're gonna do fresh rate. I don't know. What I'll say is like 1440p is a sweet spot, and I do think that you can even do a 4K.
I've been
4K
going back
monitor.
and forth. I've been going back and forth like the 4K and the 1440p, but like it just man, like I feel like the performance mode, man, when you're jumping around and stuff like that, like it looks so smooth.
Oh man!
And then when you get those vistas though, you switch the quality and you're just like, damn, like I'm telling you, like it is amazing at what they've done for like that game is so old. Like and the fact that it still holds up to this day. And we were talking about it here, and again, not to damper the Uncharted remaster thing, but the fact that Sony was able to build these games with the PS4 and kind of make them enhanced and work for the PS5, in addition to giving us new games and new experiences, not just remaking old games, but actually giving new things like Horizon coming out in a few weeks, but also giving us this. It shows the devastation that Microsoft did to itself in the Xbox One with not really giving itself great IP. Not only did it hurt itself for the 5 years or something where they decided not making games, but it's hurting them now when they could be using those games that people loved and cherished and industry favorites, which they didn't have any of that stuff.
Didn't we say this last generation?
Yeah, we said it. That's going to hurt them for the next 5 years. We said it.
Remember me.
Oh wait, I got shout out. Wait, Frog, I got the super chat here. It's working. The night 1, 2, 3, awesome. Nostradamus, not Desdradamus, Jezadamus. That's right. You could do Jezadamus or Grindhouse, but we said it here. We said that. Wait, Frog, what are you gonna say? We said exactly like it's gonna hurt them in the future.
We said exactly it's gonna hurt them in the future because last generation, when me and you, we both got the Gears 1 remastered or remake or whatever they call it. And we just said how amazing this game looked and how it felt so much. And we wanted all the Gears games to be done like that, and they didn't do it. It was a missed opportunity.
There's rumors they might be.
Here's the thing, Jazz. If they do it, I'm happy, right? I'm happy for it. Because I think it's a franchise that it should have been from the ground.
They should have done it.
Did a blue point on it. Same with Halo. They should have did a blue point on all these games. And I think it was people say Master Chief Collection.
Like what they did with the Gears Ultimate, right? You're changing with the Gears Ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a missed opportunity with the Gears franchise because it became a point where here's Gears 4, and it was like, and then here's Gears 5, and we're like, okay, this is. And my whole thing is like they could have went back and revitalized these Gears games and did a blue point kind of on it, like how we said when we saw that first Gears come back, we were like, yo. I don't remember it looking as like it was just like I played it again. I was so happy to play it, and I think that backward compatible is a great idea. It's no problem, but the problem that I had last generation with Xbox is because they so focused on backward compatibility, they gave me onesies and twosies of games they felt like they were remaster or try to remake.
Yeah.
And people seem to care more about the fact that you can go play Gears 1 at 99 cents for GameStop and put in your Xbox, and they didn't want to purchase that Gears remake or remaster, however you want to say it. They were more focused on the backward compatible part. So I think Microsoft created their own. They created their own tune to play in.
Frog, Josh says they should have called Uncharted the Master Thief Collection. Dude, that would have been good.
Let me tell you this. There's some issues I have with this game. Don't get me wrong.
With the trophy. Somebody put in the chat, but the trophy's not in Lost Legacy.
God,
that was messed up.
There's no platinum trophy for Lost Legacy. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? And there's some issues with this game.
Yeah.
But there's nothing major. Like, okay, there's nobody even in the chat that can say there's the issues that the Master Chief Collection had. Like, there's not. I do think there's a missed opportunity when you call Legacy of Thieves Collection. You should have put Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 with it. I do think that should have been a part of it.
Yeah.
Or they should have said, hey, here's a patch for 1, 2, and 3, but you got to pay $10 for Fart 4 and Lost Legacy. I get what they're doing. With the whole $10 thing, but I do think 1, 2, and 3. If you're gonna do it, don't do it half-ass, Sony. I kind of wish 1, 2, and 3 were there, and it was a complete collection. And I would kind of just I look at Sony, I'm like, okay, I get it, but 1, 2, and 3 would have been it's already on PlayStation 4. I don't know how much harder it would have been to say, okay, we're gonna pop these. They're at 1080p. Let's pop these in 4K and put that 60 frames cap on there. So there is a miss.
There's some things that but I gotta tell you, but if someone was saying with the facial
You're my number one customer.
And I was saying this to Frog. Like, first, let me get into these super chats though. Harrius Johnson with the $2. He goes Square, Capcom. Oh damn, pause. Harrius Johnson. Oh baby. Oh Jesus. Square, Capcom, and Sega are next. Oh damn, he's going on the tirade. He says Herman Holtz is plucking his yacht at Square, Capcom, and Sega. And then Glinza with the $5. Glinza, shout out to Glinza. Activision loses Destiny, and Sony gains a dev who can help them with a new Killzone, Resistance, or new ideas. Dude, we're going to talk about it, Glinza. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, my God, yeah. Dude, what they got with this? Oh, man.
And I said it. What? I said this.
I know. Yeah. You said this. That's why the grinders come here, because we're gonna tell you the way it is. It makes sense. This is the way it goes.
When me and you found out that Microsoft purchased Activision, the big thing was like, oh shit,
there's no more Call of Duty, right? And no more Call of Duty. Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, what can Sony do with their PlayStation division, and who can make a shooter that can compete against COD?
Exactly.
And we sat there, and I said, well, Fortnite's the next biggest thing. And I said, but it's creative talent. I was like, well, Bungie's real good at shooters, but I said, I don't know if they're going to be acquired. And I kept thinking about Destiny, Destiny
was the only one that could stand against the war zones and, have something equivalent of that.
And here's the thing, Jazz.
Well, we're going to get a bit. We'll get into it. We'll get to that, the Herman Holtz splits.
We'll get into it.
But,
yeah, we're going to do
So the next thing, so what I wanted to just say, the last thing before we leave the Uncharted stuff is that Uncharted 4 holds a special place in the grind's heart. Because Uncharted 4 was, for me, the turning point. So I had Xbox for the longest time. I saw the Connectimals. I saw what they were doing with the Kinect. I'm like, you know what? Phil went on stage. He announced a $500 Xbox One X. And I'm like, well, where are the games for it? At the time, you were saying Crackdown 3. And I'm like, oh, damn, pause. So I don't want that. And then all of a sudden, we go like this. I'm like, you know what? Instead of buying an Xbox for $500, I'm going to buy a PS4 Pro for $400 and have a whole access to a whole bunch of new games, right? I bought the Pro, and I played Uncharted. Now, the one part, I'll tell you the two parts. The one part, him sitting on the couch with Elena, eating, and then he played Crash. But the fact that their interaction with the voice and the animations and them just eating and talking casually, I'm like, this is a game. These are graphics. Oh my God. And I'm playing this thing, and then I look over my left shoulder and I look at my Xbox. I'm like, I haven't seen anything of this level of production from you. That was part one. Then what solidified the deal was when you did that part that was from the demo where he is leaving the city and you're hanging on the back of the car and the car's flipping over, you're in the car. And I finished that sequence, jumping from cars, motorcycles and stuff. I finished that sequence and I stood up in my gaming room and was like, I gave it a standing ovation.
Incredible.
And I was like, all my years of playing Xbox, I have never had that experience. And I said, I don't think I ever will. And it didn't stop on Uncharted. Then I got hooked. And then I started playing all these other games. I played The Order. I played then God of War. And every frigging game, the character development and the storytelling and the animations and the you cared about the characters. You wanted to play this game. You weren't rolling your eyes going, oh, there's Cortana doing her lines again. Like, it pulled you in to make like, yo, this is for the serious gamer. This is a mature story. This is a story that has wit, has good dialogue. Like I was telling this to Frogs, like when I was playing Uncharted, hearing the dialogue between Nate and his brother and hearing that they weren't kind of, after playing Halo Infinite and hearing that kind of banter between Cortana and Chief, and it just feels so forced and fake and cringy.
Yes.
Like, and I know she's meant to be that way, but it didn't feel as natural as like it used to be. It was the same tropes.
Yes.
But now feeling it and listening to Nate and his brother just talking about like, yo, man, where have you been? He's like, oh, I took pictures and stuff. I made drawings. I don't have any photographs of my adventures. He goes, you mean on the fridge? Like you put drawings on the fridge? And it's just like this brother community. Like it just felt so natural.
It felt natural, really cool. Yes.
And they have this incredible amount of writing, and they did it in Last of Us as well. Like that's one of the things that pulls you in.
They're masters of their craft.
It's incredible how they do it, and they compete against each other. And this is the thing that the Sony studios do, where they try to one up. And somebody said Ghost of Tsushima, the Tools is playing. He got his PS5.
Gosh,
even Ghost of Tsushima, and like
great experience.
When the parts happen in the game where like you lose a character and stuff, you have that emotion. Like I'm gonna seek revenge on this stuff. Same thing happened with Last of Us.
You care about the characters.
You care about the characters, and when Ellie has to go after you, like I'm gonna kill this. I'm going in. You have this emotional pull, and it's because of great writing, animation. It's incredible.
A lot of people. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, Jess. A lot of people will always put PlayStation and Sony games in that category. Movie games. It's one and done. The experience I think you get from these games, it's something that is on movie level quality, but it's interactive.
It's interactive.
And there's not too many games on the market. I can say, with the exception of maybe for Microsoft, maybe Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2, and it kind of stopped there, that it pulled that emotion. I remember Mad World watching Gears.
Oh yeah, the marketing and stuff.
Oh hell yeah!
I think they did do a better job of it in Gears 5. Even though it was with Kate, it wasn't with the characters that we wanted.
I think the marketing was good for Gears 5.
Not the marketing. I think the story cutscenes they did a little bit better because it was the first time. It was the first time they did the animations, and I felt that they did a better job in Gears 5, like trying to do that Sony thing that made you try to care about the characters, but it wasn't the characters that you really wanted to get involved with because they were kind of, everybody was like, well, where's the main character? Like, where's Marcus?
Everybody's where's Marcus?
JD,
and
and then what you were doing was just like, it is what it is.
I will say, Jazz, on Uncharted, speaking of Uncharted, I'm a huge Uncharted fan. I have an Uncharted water jug that I won. Let me tell you this. Uncharted 4 came out. I had pre-ordered the blue Uncharted PlayStation. And I wanted the statue, but I was like, okay, either I'm getting a PlayStation with the game or I'm getting a statue with the game. And I was like, damn, they're both expensive. I was like, I'm just going to get a PlayStation. So I ended up getting the PlayStation with the game. There was a guy from Naughty Dog, a Naughty Dog rep at the GameStop because I did a midnight launch. And that's back in the day before pre-COVID, right? And he asked a question. And the question was, a lot of people didn't know this question. And basically, the question was basically to win. It was a key lanyard. It was a hat. It was a water jug. It was all Uncharted for promotion Uncharted stuff. He just asked a question about just gaming that a lot of people didn't know about. And I was like, damn, how do people know? It was just like he was asking questions. He was like, I got 3 questions I'm gonna ask, and let's see if you guys can. And so his question was, and this, dude, the same thing happened with the God of War. When I bought my God of War PS4 Pro, that's how I won stuff. The guy from Sony in Santa Monica, he came down there, and what he said was his question was he wanted to know the developers for all the God of Wars. Anybody can tell the developers. Most people in there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it was their first time playing God of War when 2018 came out, and I answered all of them. And I got a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm a huge Uncharted fan. The only reason I got rid of my Uncharted console is because when I found out that God of War was coming out with the PS4 Pro,
Oh yeah,
I was like,
that one.
I had to have it. So I own the big PS4 Pro consoles. I purchased probably every major PS4 Pro console that's come out. 50,000 edition, God of War, Star Wars, the Destiny 2.
Yeah, that Uncharted one. What was it? It was gray. It came out with it was blue
and it had
gray.
Nathan Drake stand on
it. Yeah.
But if you got the statue, I believe it came with the statue, the game, and the ring. And I really did want the statue, and I probably still will eventually get it, but I really, really wanted that console. And I look back on it now, I'm like, damn, if that God of War console had never came out, I wouldn't, because I own a lot of the PS4 Pro consoles. And I think
you got them. I know, yeah.
Yeah, I own a lot of them. Like, shoot, I bought the Spider-Man one, gave it to my friend because his PS4 Pro broke. How many friends would do that? Yeah. He was like, yeah, can't play on. I was like, why can't you play with us? He was like, my PS4 Pro, his regular PS4, day one broke. And I was like, hey, man, I got you. And I freaking sent him that Spider-Man PS4 Pro, never opened. He still has it. We were talking the other day. He was like, dude, he's like, I treat this thing like gold. He was like, I've never had anybody do anything this big for me, but he's a good friend, and I can say Sony, and it's not that Nintendo and Microsoft don't, because Nintendo definitely does. And I would say Nintendo more than Microsoft. And this is not a bashing contest, but this is a one hand like clap, like salute, like the stuff that PlayStation studios are that they create.
It's incredible.
They're in a whole nother
it pulled me in, and I'm showing the 2 scenes what really pulled me in to like this. Where I was like, wow, this is something that really is special. But yeah, you know what? We're gonna move on to the next topic of the Final Fantasy. But before we go there, Josh Ayers brings up a good point. I didn't put on the Grinds book because there's so much stuff going on. But the fact that Sega is no longer doing arcade games after 56 years. We need a moment of silence for that one. You're right, Josh. Yeah, the arcades, man. That COVID, it really took out the arcades there. But moment of silence.
They still have the Uncharted headset.
And there go the arcades. Yeah, I know. It's just very what it says, your guys' volume needs to come down about 10% compared to you, Jez. All right. I think Frog's, your volume has to come down here. Hold on, I'll fix it.
Okay.
There we go. Maybe that's better.
I know we're too loud.
There we go. I know Frogs use all different microphones and the freaking blast going on here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Final Fantasy news. Oh, somebody says Nintendo and Sega's coming. It's Destiny or the Unknown. Shout out to the Unknown. What's up, man? So this part and this. But you know what? We come to where is it? The Final Fantasy stuff. Did you see this? So the Final Fantasy remake part 2 is planned to be revealed this year. Producer confirmed. So according to the article over at Video Games Chronicle, they said the classic PlayStation RPG is 25 today, it's 25th anniversary, and Square Enix says more new projects are coming. Now, if you recall the article from last week, or the rumors are going that any future Final Fantasy games are not going to be on PlayStation, not on Xbox. So we'll see how that goes if that turns out to be true. But basically, they did say that they're hard at work at the Final Fantasy 17, which is the Ever Crisis. So, I'm sorry, 17. Is it 17? I thought it was supposed to be 16. Is it 17?
Wait, what is it?
They just started the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 7 remake. I'm sorry, I see part 2s and I'm like 17s. Dude, it's the long-awaited Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Jesus, talk about a mouthful. My God. But the Part 2 of this. And then they're also working on the Final Fantasy 16 is what they're working on this next.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next one. And then they're going to be doing Ever Crisis. They also have that other one that's coming out. That's like that Dark Souls type one that comes out at the end of the year. 16, that's right. 16's coming out. But you know,
I mean,
this was their announcement today
yeah,
that they basically came out here and you know, their 25th anniversary, and dude, it's just another Final Fantasy game that and then we know like where's the first one going on Xbox? They didn't even mention it, dude. So
I
like,
don't think it's coming to Xbox. I think it may come to
uh-uh.
PC. I think that's it.
That's it, dude. That's it. And then you got the Ever Crisis. Then they're marking on part 2. People thought that was a year exclusive for Final Fantasy. So it looks like these Final Fantasy games, it's kind of true that, you know, they might be just kind of naturally exclusive to the PlayStation. But I
Yep.
tell you, man,
Why throw your
stack
game
the
in Game
deck.
Pass? Why throw your game in Game Pass when the return for which you're probably going to get paid is not going to be worth it?
You know what, Frog? Yeah, I know. You know, an Ever Crisis coming. The Unknown says Ever Crisis hyped for. So you know, I'm gonna say the one thing though about this whole thing, and it's part of the topic with this Game Pass thing that I think we're gonna look at the other side of Game Pass. And I know Sony's kind of coming out with their thing, but well, there's something, Frog, exactly what you said about this whole Game Pass thing. Like some devs are just
Mhm.
kind of, it's kind of a turnoff. It's
Yes.
like, you know, it seems like, okay, well, you know, I'm not gonna. Well, if I'm gonna put my stuff in Game Pass, I'll see you in a half, and maybe in a year or so. Like, I'm not. I'm gonna
Yes.
release this to the premium customers who are gonna pay top dollar for it, and then I will eventually, when I finish those residuals, like finish that stuff, then I'll put it on a service thing. So
There you
this
go.
Final Fantasy run, man, that is a strong thing in Sony's court that they're getting. And the fact that they're not even talking about the other consoles at all, especially Final Fantasy VII. They didn't even announce it today that it was going to Xbox, so I wouldn't hold my breath. And
No, I wouldn't either.
yeah, so today, happy anniversary, Final Fantasy. And yeah, so that was the Final Fantasy stuff going down. Can't catch too much of it. But you know, speaking of I guess I can't transition to this thing. Halo had 20 million people, Frog. They announced that
Oh,
20 million people checked out Halo. Bunch of rubberneckers.
Wait, let's be clear on it, Jazz. I want to make sure we're clear. 20 people that purchased or checked it out.
Beats me, man.
'Cause,
Beats
they,
me.
and we got to ask Phil Ness what he means by this.
Frog, frog, frog. Please, please, please. I said 20 million people have played Halo, and that's what I said. Don't ask me any details. Oh, by the way, did you check out that I could get you Game Pass for about 1 month? Did you hear about that? I'll throw in some donuts and maybe a fridge. You want the fridge? You know what? I'll throw in some body wash so you can smell real good when you come to my rooftop parties. So maybe.
Wait, is it gonna have the Kraken on it?
Oh, that hurts. I went to Rare. I told Booty. I was like, Booty, ask Rare where is the Kraken. Booty said all they wanted was 2 sugars and extra cream. I don't know what's going on, but you know what? I said 20 million. And when Phil Mays says 20 million, that's all you need to know. I'm the best. I brought Xbox back. I brought it back from the dead because I'm Phil Mays. I'm a hero. Everybody loves me. And that's all that matters. Everybody loves me. I don't care about anything else. All I care about is when I do my interviews with the Venezuelan government and tell everybody about games on phones and shake and kiss babies in South Korea because they play on phones with strap-ons. Sorry, I call them strap-ons. But anyway, I'm Phil Ness. Everybody loves me. I don't care if they like Xbox, but they love me. Phil
Only
Ness.
thing I wonder, Phil Ness, is you said it had 20 million, but then you went ahead and said there's 25 million subscribers, so that means that everybody in Game Pass is not trying it out.
Oh, you're thinking too hard. I just said 20 million. And the 25 million, 20 million, okay. It's just 5 million. It's okay. You like me. I'm Phil Spencer. Did I say who I am? I'm Phil Ness. Don't worry about the numbers.
Dude, that Phil Ness, man, he don't care. He just cares if people love him. He don't care about the numbers. He says 20 million,
Nope.
He goes 20 million. 10 million people ran on the scoreboards of Forza, he's okay. So he said 20 million people No details if they were sales, no details of it. He just said 20 million people have rubbernecked and checked out Halo. That was on every device known to man. They were on.
Like, it's the biggest Halo ever.
Dude, it was on phones, iPhone, all the PCs, all the X-Clowns, powered by McDonald's Wi-Fi, Burger King Wi-Fi, Arby's Wi-Fi, Taco Bell's. All the place. Halo was everywhere. And 20 million people said, let me take a peek. And I guess that's good. I guess that's successful. I don't know. And I've said this so many times on this show and this thing. What is the quality of engagement? Just because somebody took a peek doesn't mean is that quality engagement? Is that something that is that it? Like, we're just calling it like they just checked it out and we're good? Like, what is the interactivity? What is the engagement? Are they staying? What's the retention?
Go to Keon.
What happened?
No, I'm talking to my dog. She's in my kitchen. I'm sorry.
But what is the quality of retention? Like, we look at the numbers. They're down at the 20, 30,000s, on Steam, and then you say, okay, well, where are the other the 18 million? Are they on Xbox? Who knows? They're 25 million Game Pass. Things that we said, which was very interesting, was that the number really didn't peak up when the campaign released. Like, you thought it was going to be another spike, and it really didn't spike up.
It didn't
when the campaign released on Craig's birthday on December 8th. And 20 million Spartans joining us. Like, they didn't even say bought the game. I remember they announced when Halo sold 5 million and Aaron Greenberg was doing all his Greenberg stuff. And I just don't understand. And again, this is the problem that they're having. And we'll get into the Game Pass thing about how, what this is to the industry.
Don't take and put your big premier games in a service like this. And then it doesn't it cannot generate anything for you in a positive way, because Halo Infinite's multiplayer is good, but the fact of the matter, it's good as far as it's just the game mechanics, but it's bad as far as everything else. It's bad as far as how you do microtransactions, and it's horrible. It's bad for the battle pass. It's bad because it feels like a game that's not fully
they
fleshed
have
out.
No clue with that battle pass, man. I've been following some Halo websites and stuff. Shout out to the Game Night 123 with the 5. He goes, for example, 35 million vehicles will set on fire and destruction.
You're my number one customer.
It must mean that 35 million copies. Microsoft with their numbers, man. The Game Night, I totally agree with you, man. It is Phil Ness numbers. Like, and the problem, just to go along with what Game Night's saying, is that as a game developer, as somebody like that, like, they're not showing the numbers that really show the stuff that they're saying. More people play the games, more people engaging. All they're just letting you know is, hey, the game was given away for free. The barrier of entry for Halo, the biggest franchise over 20 years. Oh my God, Truck Stop Hooker says Buck Garage. Oh damn, pause. Oh shit.
Oh damn.
Oh my goodness. But like, it's free. The game was free. It was given on Steam, Windows 10 devices. It was on cloud. It was given on all the Xbox. It was on Xbox. It wasn't next gen.
PlayStation, Nintendo.
Exactly. It was everywhere. And 20 million people announced in January. It wasn't even like a month. It wasn't even like after the multiplayer. So majority of those 20 million were probably front loaded in November. I don't think those 20 million came in December with the campaign. So unless they added those Game Pass numbers to and just said, hey, everybody who subscribed to Game Pass, and who knows, if you're subscribed to Game Pass and Halo shows up in your queue, do you automatically, they're like, oh yeah, that person's an owner of Halo, or do you have to click on it? Like, they don't give you and how long do they click on it? Did they download it and stay and play? The Battle Pass is a mess. And I really didn't want to I was going to get into it today. Maybe I'll do it on a Grinds Bite, but the updates from them are just like, we're figuring it out. We're going to lower the price of the store, 700 points, $7 for a helmet. They said that you remember the thing, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that the animation with when I showed last week with the glowing mohawk and the eye bands, well, the eye bands don't line up with the eyes. And they said wait to season 2. Like, they're like, a lot of the fixes, a lot of the complaints, they keep saying wait to season 2, which is in June. May or June. So, like, I don't know what maybe they're just in this beta state right now. And I just don't understand how they did this to Halo. And it sounds like they're clueless. It sounds like they're just figuring us out. Meanwhile, these sons of bitches sold us it's a service game as an excuse for 2 years before this game came out. And now when the game's out, there's no roadmap. There's no rhyme or reason why Big Team Battle doesn't work. They're sending out patches that don't work. The store's a mess. All the events I showed you a couple of weeks ago, like, people dropped it. People don't even come back for the events. How do you have a service game when the events don't bring back people? Remember we played Call of Duty when, like, what's his name was in there from Die Hard, and like they brought people back and they made it exciting. Like, you go back for the events. People not going back to get a goddamn glowing mohawk.
No, they're not.
And nonetheless, anything that's cool, it's behind the paywall. You got to pay for it. And people are complaining. And the problem is that they're like, we're trying to figure it out. Where is it? Like, it's pathetic. And it's going to tie us into, actually, maybe I will show it because it's going to tie us into Bungie making the better Halos. But, like, let me see. Halo Infinite update on store. And they've been not putting this on the blog. Where is it? Here it is. Is it? They've been putting it in the forums. But, like, yeah, like the like, this is the store, and the store is a friggin' disgrace. Like, I'm not playing the multiplayer anymore. Like, I was bored as hell. They haven't added new maps to it. They're still trying to figure the monetization out, dude. They're trying to figure the monetization out, and it's basically taking away from the new content, the new maps, new weapons. And I have it. You guys check it out. I did a Grinds Bite on Friday. Frank, did you know the guy that came up with Day One Guns, the sandbox guy, he left in December, and Joseph Staten posted a job posting this month for a new sandbox lead?
I saw that.
Dude, the guy left. He was the one talking about Day One Guns. We're going to figure out where we're going to put these in, and it has sounded very ambitious. They dropped the sandbox, and the dude leaves the sandbox. They dropped the game when his job supposedly is going to kick off, and the guy books it 5 days later. And you want to know what? I followed up. Guess where he went? Do you want to know where the Halo sandbox lead went? Grinders.
Let me guess where he went. Is it Bungie?
No.
Is it?
I don't think you're gonna guess it though. I don't think you're gonna guess it.
It's
Grinders,
Activision.
do you know? Let me ask the Grinders. Grinders, I'm gonna give you a test. Do you know where he went? Because obviously, no Xbox channels covered that the lead sandbox designer left for Halo, because everybody's like, Halo's game of the year. All right, move on. Phil's great. Let's talk about Phil. Grinders, where did he go? You want to know where he went? You want to hear the sandbox lead?
Where'd he go?
Oh man, no, this is newsworthy. This is why you come here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because give you the real news. I give you the real goddamn news. Okay. No goddamn GameSpot, Paul Tassi talking out his ass that they don't have enough money to buy Bungie, Sony. You want to know what? Nah. This is where he went, Grinders. No, he didn't go to PlayStation. No, he didn't. This is where he went.
Yeah, I don't think he went to PlayStation.
He went to 12 a.m. Midnight Society. Dr. Disrespect's AAA studio.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Here he is right here. He also joined Dr. Disrespect, but also 402. And if you remember him, he was the community manager for Call of Duty. He was the guy for Call of Duty, the community manager. And he left Activision, Infinity Ward, and came here with Midnight Society. But here's our good friend, Day One Guns from Halo. He went, and now he's creative director at 12 a.m. for Dr. Disrespect. He left Halo 9 years. And Robert Bowling, that's who 402 is, if you don't know. He left Activision. And, yep, he left 9 years of Halo talking about a sandbox and went to Dr. Disrespect Studio. So you tell me how that sandbox is doing. You tell me that 343 is in good shape. They are putting out posts that's going to take time. They're figuring out. That's where he went. He left after 9 years of Halo. They wore him out with their horse shit. And he left after 9 years and went to be a creative director over at Midnight Society. And the reason why I bring it up, I know people come and go, but the fact is that this guy was a sandbox designer, and the sandbox just released. You think this is when his job is going to... He was building up to this point because now the campaign is out there, so now they could add all the missing content, add all this day one guns and all these classic weapons that he said. Yeah. I know there's a team, but the guy left. Booty, you messed up his order, Booty. He asked for 2 sugars. You gave him Splendor. Booty, you're fired.
I tell you what.
Booty messed up his order. The guy left. He goes, Booty, you came clapping here in these streets. I asked for 2 sugars and 1 cream in my coffee. You said you weren't going to get in my way. And you come in here and you give me that Splendor. You give me that stevia. I don't want stevia. I said 2 sugars, Booty. Clap that ass out of here. The chapped ass. You got 510,000 employees at Activision. You got to go chap that ass. Get out of here.
Let me tell you.
Buck Rogers says it's a little box. It's not a sandbox. Dude, that's what my
I can tell you this, man. I can tell you this for sure.
Booty messed up his order.
And Sony had already said that they were acquiring, and they said they weren't done. Even after this purchase today, if you read it, they said they were not done. And let's put it on the table. I think that you're going to see something maybe from Capcom, from Software, Square Enix, and Atlas deal from Sony, because that's kind of, if you look at their very strategic, that's the kind of their answer towards, hey, you guys got Western RPGs, we have these RPGs, and we can get these companies to make Western type RPGs. So I think they're very calculated. And people have to, here's the other thing people have to really keep in mind. Because this got announced today, it doesn't mean this deal happened in one day. This has been in the works for months, probably a year. You know, they've already been talking. And so you got to think when they're doing acquisitions and we find out about it, it's not like, oh my God, Sony just acquired them today. Like, that's it. They just went to them and said, hey, we want to buy you. And they're like, yes, this has been in the works for a while.
Yeah, they said 5 months. 5 months, they said.
Yeah. Yeah, and so just look at Final Fantasy in the news that Square Enix put out.
I saw that, Tools. Don't grind my gears. I'm ready for that one. Don't worry, we'll get in there.
Look at Capcom and what Capcom News puts out and where they're telling you their games are selling the best at. Same with From Software. Same with Atlas. So don't be shocked if you hear some kind of deal with Square Enix in the future. Maybe not now, but in the future, because they're like, yo. Our stuff is selling on PlayStation, freaking hardware. Same with Capcom. When they came out their Resident Evil numbers, they were like, yo, we actually sold a lot. And I think it's...
Well, we saw it, man.
Hold on.
We did.
I'm going to tell you this. Because we're talking about Halo at 20 million, checking it out, right? I saw a lot of people say the same thing when Resident Evil Village is coming out. They are playing on Xbox. I'm gonna wait and see if it comes to Game Pass.
Oh, wait, Frog, you're jumping into the next topic, man. I got you, Frog. I knew exactly where you're going with that thing. Here's the flaming helmet that you get. It's the flaming shoulder, basically, because the helmet, the animation's off. But they said they're gonna wait till June, the second season. We'll fix the fire. Somebody better light a fire under their ass, because this is some horse shit right here.
Man,
this is quality. This is what you do to Halo. You give him goddamn flaming shoulder straps? What the hell are we doing here? Where's your animator? 20 million people took a look at this and said, this is horse shit. That's what happened. And you know what else, man? Oh, man. I've been lurking. I've been listening. I've been the Grinds lurker, man. You hear these people. 25 down. 25 million. That's not a lot. I thought Game Pass was going to have more numbers. More. Dude, it is everywhere. It is everywhere. The dongle. It's everywhere. Guess what? The little flapping dongle that you stick to your TV is not going to change at all. Game Pass is done. It's saturated. 25 million. That's why they went and go spend $70 billion on Call of Duty, because nobody was giving a shit to Game Pass, because all the marketing come and slipped in your donuts like goddamn Halloween, putting razor blades and friggin' candy bars. They're slipping in friggin' Game Pass subscriptions inside your donuts. Dude,
razor blades and candy bars.
Dude, they're friggin' going wild, man. You would take a bite out of a donut. You take a bite, it's a friggin' 15-day trial. They were giving 14 days. You open up that Xbox fridge, there's friggin' 5 days of Game Pass in there. Dude, they were shoving Game Pass. They were telling you to wipe your ass with it, because they said toilet paper. You go to Xbox headquarters, you wipe your ass with Game Pass subscriptions, because they shoved this thing down your throat. And even for a dollar bill fill, $5 million a year for your first party games. I'm gonna tell you this, Grinders. I'm gonna tell you this. I would get into the Game Pass topic. Let me tell you this. Hit that like button, Grinders. Let me tell you this. $5 million from putting their games, first party games in Game Pass, $25 million. In a world where these Xbox Game Pass capping guys and girls, I guess, love this thing. If Sony goes like this tomorrow, even Nintendo, you know what? I'm done. Death blow, Holst. Okay, I'll do it. I didn't want it to affect the quality, but I'm going to do it.
A few moments later.
Herman Holtz flips the switch. All Sony first-party games, day and date, same quality, coming to you via PlayStation Pass.
Yeah.
I bet you in the 5 years that it took Xbox to get 25 million, Sony hits it in 2. Not even. Because of the quality games. Nintendo and Netflix, Disney and Netflix, same thing. To get Netflix numbers, Netflix had to grind tooth and nail, dealing with other people's content before deciding to make their own and trying to get big. Disney spent years building IP and quality, and they said, you know what, our stuff is now part of the subscription. Their subscription shut up. And that's what I mean. Microsoft first party
and purchased some people. They went and bought Hulu and ESPN, and
yeah,
you know
they tried. Like, and the thing is like if you look at how long it took Microsoft to get where it is, but putting their first party games, it shows that their first party games really didn't hold the leverage of really warranting. And it kind of goes to like maybe why they even put their first party games in Game Pass to begin with, because they just weren't selling. They didn't get the attention, the market appeal that they used to get. They're has-beens. And remember that day when people lined up for this game and they wore and bled green? Dude, that you haven't done anything to garner that kind of attention anymore. You've milked the cow dry. You need to innovate. You need to bring new content, refreshing ideas, new IP that people want to play. Don't just have it for the sake of having it for quantity, but have that people want to play. And if they don't want to play it first, you do a Sony and you market the hell out of that game and peel back the layers of Horizon, showing the different characters, the different voice actors, the breadth of the world, the enemy types. You make people want your game. You don't stealth drop this shit and go, we'll figure this shit out one day. 20 million people rubbernecking, checking. Oh, shit, what the hell? What's that disaster over there? Oh, shit. Oh, but you know when something bad happens and everybody pulls out their phone to take a picture of something? There's your 20 million right there. A whole bunch of people took a picture of this disaster, Halo Infinite, that launched. But you know what? Halo Infinite was the best because Call of Duty was shit. But now Call of Duty's the best. Halo is nowhere to be found because Microsoft said 70 billion later, everybody's a Call of Duty fan all of a sudden. In December and November, Call of Duty sucked ass because Halo needed to be good, so Call of Duty and Battlefield had to be bad. That was the logic. Well, now they're sleeping with the enemy. There you go. Quality.
But I heard somebody make the statement when Microsoft purchased Activision, and the statement was to the people who prefer PlayStation over Xbox. And this was a PC guy. Sony kept poking the bear, and now they got bit. Well, I wonder what they think about this, because when you really look at it, Call of Duty is what was the main focus. Every major outlet, when Microsoft purchased Activision, that was the main focus, was really Call of Duty not being on PlayStation. It wasn't about anything else that Activision owned other than Call of Duty, right? So now were like, okay, yeah, you guys paid a lot of money. Sony, they bought Bungie for more than they bought uh, Insomniac and a lot of Blue Point.
Yeah.
They spent more money, but what can this and this is what we said. This is what we said when we heard about the Activision purchase. People were like, "Oh, they can take in." Same with the Bethesda. Oh, they can take and they can put the Doom guy in Halo, and they can take the Call of Duty engine and run a disc game. So Microsoft is not about to do that. But you know who will do stuff like that? Sony will. Sony will let Bungie go ahead and say, "Yo, you guys go ahead and create whatever you want to create, and we're gonna sit back and let you have your creative in your creative realm, do your thing, And hey, if we want you to create this game for us, create this game in your image. So if Sony says, hey, you know what, Bungie, we want to bring back, a big staple to the Sony PlayStation fans and franchise, and they say, well, what do you want to bring back? And they say, we want to bring back a SOCOMs. That's something I could see happening.
Yeah, I think Bungie's going to do that. We'll talk to the Bungie stuff. We'll get into the Bungie thing, but I want to bring up that Game Pass thing that you're talking about letting this quality and 20 million people checking it out. I got something for you. Man. Whoa! I got some good stuff in here in my little old bookmarks of the Twitterverse. I store them in the Grinds suitcase. Watch this. You want to talk about Game Pass in the future? Oh, first, I think we missed a topic here before we get to the Game Pass thing. February games, PS Now getting the Grand GTA Vice City. Talk about service. Yeah, GTA Vice City is going to be in PS Now. So they got the first one and Vice City, and Microsoft just had San Andreas. Nice. So they got that, and the Discord integration is coming. Frog said he set it up. It's just presents for now. Yeah. Just presents for now, but wait, we're going to go Game Pass. Oh, here's the Discord one. So it's just presents. I thought it was going to be integrated more with the chat, that we could do these Discords on there.
Yes.
They said it's a start. We'll see. Right now, it's just basically what Microsoft does, where it's the goddamn integration, where it's just like shows you your presence, what games you're playing on Discord, which is all right. It's a start. But it wasn't the integration I was waiting on. So hopefully they're going to roll out some more details of it. But we're gonna talk about this thing here.
Oh, another thing I want to tell you guys, man. If you guys I'm a big Destiny fan, just like I'm a big COD fan. So and I know we're gonna get into it, but I will say this: I was just as opposed to the game being on not being multiplayer COD. And when we get in this Destiny conversation, you'll hear more.
We'll talk about that, definitely. But here we go with this Game Pass. A Frog brought up a point, and I wanted to highlight it because I had it on here about this whole Game Pass and the Game Pass effect. And we mentioned it so many times on here, but it's interesting to see the people that were saying that this is our future kind of scratching their head.
Shout out to Paris, man.
Here we go. Ready? Let's go. Now, this is when he said we don't need sequels anymore.
We'll have 4 generations of games to play at launch. So the amount of games to play that we'll be showcasing 4K 60, Ori Will the Wisp is going to be showing 120 frames. I mean, God bless Moon Studios. So all that, we think gamers will be fully delighted, and we can deliver on the promise there. But we're going to keep delivering more content, more innovation. And some of those are coming this year, some are coming next year, and some are coming
This was 2020.
And so we showed a little bit.
I don't want to hear Greenberg. Let's see about
the
Paris.
synergy of what you're doing
Yeah,
now,
let's
having Game
Let's hear.
Pass and the
Yo,
fact that
Paris.
it's clearly the future. I mean, I even tweeted it earlier. And the fact that you now don't have to rely on sequels because you have Game Pass subscribers. So they're already guaranteed to get these games. So instead of worrying about, let's crank out the latest and greatest sequel with a number on it, take the platform of the game you have, let the developers continue to build upon what they've already started. And that's what excites me more than anything. That's why I look at something like Halo Infinite and the possibilities with the...
I don't want to hear it. Possibility Halo Infinite. Yeah, how great. But wait a second. Let's see what happens here.
Isn't a loss leader for them. They're making some type of
Game
profit
Pass is
of
the
it,
future, how we
however
consume. Listen.
The math gymnastics
Hope
of
it's
that
loud
work.
enough.
But you also have to think of this, like you said, the way Game Pass is set up right now. Once you get past that second game that you buy in a year, okay, well, how are you not making money? But remember this: Game Pass is all digital. what have you effectively done by getting people to invest in Game Pass? You've literally killed the used game market. And again, we're just talking from a business standpoint, not from a consumer standpoint. So a lot of people, look, I know my cheap ass was doing this. I would go get a used game basically on the second market. So that money was never going directly to the original publisher anyways. It was going to the GameStops of the world, right? Or it was going to, my buddies or whatever when I borrow a game from them. So when you think of it that way, most people aren't really buying more than 2 or 3 games a year anyways. So, but now you have that subscription commitment. Again, it's Netflix. Look, Phil can act like they're not trying to be the Netflix of games, but they are trying to be the Netflix of games, because that's the whole point.
Yeah, right.
When you look, the subscription model is the future. Basically, Spotify is a subscription, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu.
I'm done. I don't want to hear this because my gears are getting grinded because I know the punchline right here. He loves the Game Pass. He loves all that stuff. Well, where is the most recent one? Where are you? I think it was back here, over in the grinds locker. So he's saying Game Pass is great. My cheap ass, I don't have to buy these games. It's wonderful. It's all this stuff. It's the future of gaming. It's how we're going to consume the digital. It kills the market and all this other stuff, right? Well, let's see what he says here. Is this the one?
And how great it is. So, really good friend of mine, I was actually having a phone call with him earlier. And
a good friend of his. Okay, so listen to this. Listen, Salty, here's the punchline. Here it is. Future, hear the Game Pass effect. And where did you hear this before? Listen. Frog, you heard this before.
The topic of Death's Door came up because he heard our Game of the Year episode, and he was like, "Man, I really want to play it." He goes, "But I'm holding out till it's on Game Pass." Ooh. And that just made me think. Here's a great game. Obviously, we've talked about it a lot, how great it is. It's not even a $60 game; it's a $20 game. And the mentality that he has, I've seen this sentiment from other people online as well, where they would rather just hold off and quote unquote hope that the game they really want to play comes to Game Pass versus actually just buying it when it's available, with no promise that it's ever going to come to the service. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I think as time moves forward and we see these subscription services happen, because, obviously PlayStation is rumored to do something similar here pretty soon. That's going to be an interesting thing to see what happens with certain games, especially from the third parties, if people will continue to just buy them a la carte, buy them at full price, buy them when they go on sale, or we're going to see this game of cat and mouse where people are going to wait. Does it show up on the subscription service that I subscribe to? I'll wait and see. I'll take that gamble and hold off versus actually experiencing something, that's fun to play right now. So just a thought. Again, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but that was just interesting.
I'll tell you right now, it's a bad thing. All right, I'll tell you right now, it's a bad thing because that's exactly what we said was going to happen. This whole wait for Game Pass, like, hey, go play Death's Door, man, go buy it, go get it. I'm just gonna wait for it to come to Game Pass. Yep. Wait for it to come to Game Pass. Exactly, and that's and that's the thing. So, what I don't understand is how you're promoting Game Pass and talking about cheap ass and all this other stuff, but then you're realizing when it's coming right at your door, your friend's not buying the game. You said, yo, man, you got to check this great game out. It's a great game. Go buy it. Dude, I'm just waiting for it to come to Game Pass. That's a bad thing because this is exactly what Frog was saying. It's gonna, if Microsoft's all in on this, man. They made the bed. They're sleeping in it. She got 2 teeth. And, dude, they're in this bed with Game Pass. Dude, pause. Oh, my goodness. But I'm telling you, it's making people not buy games. And if this is the only ecosystem you want to focus on, you're going to chase away people that want to make great games that people buy. And that's the problem that Microsoft is doing. They are going all in on something that is unproven. They have yet to use the numbers to really prove that this is working. They put bogus numbers like 12 million people checked out the disaster, but it doesn't say how many people buying the game. What's the revenue? Like how did Halo do compared to other Halos? Things that you would do to kind of say that system is changing stuff. Instead, you're
Right.
finding people not buy games. So if you're a third-party developer, if you want to make games, and you know that if you go to Xbox, you got to go through Game Pass. So now you got to wheel and deal, take away the control, and now Microsoft deals with the customer. You just deal with Microsoft and just say, pay me and put it in your service. Or
There you go.
do you work your ass off on this game and believe that this is the quality that people want, put it out there for 40, 50 bucks and have people buy it and not go through Game Pass? Now, if that's your option, Microsoft doesn't really give you a good deal because guess what? Because Game Pass exists and Microsoft is using Game Pass to compete with itself. See, he says Sony's going to do it. I don't think, again, I could be wrong. I've been Grindhouse, but I don't think that Sony is going to compete with its release lineup. I think there might be games that they'll put into their subscription service day one. Like I said, there might be games day one on PC, and we'll talk about it.
There you go.
But they're not doing the Microsoft where I said all games. Microsoft came out there and said everything we're ever going to make is going into Game Pass. Everything we're ever going to do is all about Game Pass. Sony's not going to commit balls deep that way. Sony's going to tip their toe and go, yeah, a little bit of stuff in subscriptions, a little bit of stuff in on PC, and a whole bunch of quality coming to you the traditional way. So therefore, they hit you at every single level. And the game is not compromised. If the game should be a service game like a Destruction All-Stars, put it in the service. But if a game like Last of Us 3 comes out, put that game out for $70 and we're going to sell it. And we don't have to worry about the service now because we have tiers. We have 3 different. And you want to know what? Multiplayer only game? You know what? Put it on PC too, day one. There you go. With Microsoft is like, hey, everything that comes through here is going to fit through this square hole.
There you go.
And it's
And
like everything you make kind of go through here. It's going to deter people from buying and
Yeah.
people from releasing games. Get Frog.
Every customer doesn't want that. That's not how you feed every customer. If you're feeding every customer as if they want to eat at a buffet, some of them want a premium product. Not every customer wants a buffet with people coughing and sneezing and their snotty hands all over.
You don't want to go buffet every day, right?
Some people just every day you don't want
You don't want buffet food every day.
Like imagine that you had to eat buffet food every place you went to, and the food, the way they had their food was buffet style. You'd be like, yo, where are these high end places at? Where can I get me a good freaking steak, or where can I get me a good cut of fish? No, you got to go to a buffet. That's the way we do it. If you don't eat at a buffet, then you're losing out.
Mm-hmm.
When you spend money on a good premium product, you get the results you have. You don't get diarrhea like you're eating at Taco Bell every night.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is like, I think Game Pass doesn't work in a lot of different ways for some people, and I think it absolutely destroys in a lot of ways developers' inhibition to really make anything drastically big. And so what you have is you're going to have these people who are like, I have this project, and they're a small studio, and they may say, I have this project and I want to fund it. Well, yeah, okay, go bring it to Game Pass. Maybe it's successful, maybe it's not. But then on the flip side, you don't bring big games like Halo and freaking Call of Duty. And the reason I say Call of Duty is because it's a big seller. You don't bring games that people that have this freaking roof, because I guarantee if Halo Infinite wasn't brought to Game Pass, that game wouldn't have came out no time soon. I guarantee it. No time soon. We wouldn't have seen a Halo game.
Not like
We would
that.
have been waiting.
Not like that. Halo was built like that because of the subscription model. That's the problem.
reason.
What I have with it.
And that's a problem.
Compromised.
That's a problem. People have to. You don't compromise on your biggest and best friend. Imagine they said, "Hey, Uncharted is coming to a PlayStation subscription service. Oh, we're gonna give you the first couple of chapters,
Ooh.
and the
No.
multiplayer be there in 6 months."
Yeah,
No, you can't do stuff like that. People will.
Well,
and
episodic,
with that,
dude. Yeah,
let
like
me
you
tell
can't
you,
make a
with
game
that
episodic. Like
what that market,
if it meant to be, it's meant to be. But don't force it.
what that market is doing on the other side is, I've heard people. Dude, let me tell you, I've heard people on that side that play primarily Xbox like, man, I want to play Dying Light, but I'm gonna wait and see if it comes to Game Pass. They're waiting
That's
for
what he
these
was talking
big-
about, dude. That's exactly what he's saying.
That's sad.
As a developer, remember what they did, Frog, with Outriders? The people,
Same
they
thing.
were begging people. They were like, please still buy a game. Don't cancel your pre-orders. And meanwhile, people are like, I'm canceling my pre-order, cancel my pre-order.
That is a thing.
The studio was begging not to do it because the publisher said it's going to the Game Pass.
And that's the thing that developers have to stand firm. They say, you know what, Microsoft, you want to put this game again. Sometimes it's not the developer, it's the publisher's fault.
Yeah.
Because they should make these bad deals. Because Square can admit, oh shoot, we made a bad deal. Like that wasn't the best deal we should have made. That was a bad deal. Because now we're coming back and we don't want to pay you guys what you did, and pay them for their time and their service that they put an effort they put in that game. And don't shit on the people who are basically and ultimately trying to help you establish something new. You don't do that to people. Not at all.
That's right. And then the final thing with the Game Pass effect too is like if you're talking about numbers, right, Frog? You look at here and we're talking about the big numbers, right? The big numbers here where somebody said here, Fortnite, Warzone, Apex Legends have 200,000 plus combined viewers on Twitch. Valorant and CSGO have 200,000 combined viewers on Twitch.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, Vanguard, and Battlefield have under 15,000 combined viewers. First-person shooters have moved away from casual respawn arena shooters.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that, there was some rumors that now Halo's making a game mode. I think I tweeted it out to you, where they're working on some sort of casual mode that they're planning on doing. Where is that? I think I sent it to you. They were doing, here it is. Certain Affinity was working on something to try to help Halo, right? On the Xbox 2 podcast, Just Gordon blocked me, so whatever. It is what it is. Certain Affinity may be working on a new multiplayer mode for Halo, according to trusted sources. Certain Affinity. Here it is, Grinders. Hit that like button if you think this is trash. It seems that this new mode, codenamed Tatanka, great wrestler, could be several months out at this point. Waiting game. And it's designed to be. No, wait, but you got to wait for greatness, right? No, wait for this. Designed to be more newcomer friendly experience that isn't as demanding competitively than existing multiplayer modes, big team battle and arena. It's also intended to entice users who typically aren't interested in Halo, potentially targeting gamers on Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, or Apex Legends.
I'm trying to use the phone!
Dude, they're regressing. This is for the kids. As Tony Soprano would say, it's for the kids. This is the new mode that they're going to try to get people back into Halo with.
So
it's a newcomer friendly.
They're asking to cannibalize the studios that just bought. The Activision Action, they're trying to cannibalize themselves in a certain sense. That don't make any sense.
Dude, this is something they're excited about. That's why all these years, and people say like Sony putting games on PC. Let me tell you something. Microsoft has basically taken the Xbox and the franchises and the fans, and they have put you to the side. And I've said this on the show last week. They had the money. You rub your nipples in it every night because you celebrate Microsoft money. Money, money, money! That's important to you now. I don't know why. It's not like they're paying you or putting dollar bills down your pants. Pause. Oh, shit. But basically, they had the money to get you the games. And instead, they wined and dined you and told you about they bought studios. And you're going to have to wait. 4 years later, still going to have to wait. Oh, while you wait, we're going to buy more studios and now publishers on this end. So you could wait even more while we let the legalities sort themselves out and figure out how many coffees Booty's going to have to deliver on a Sunday. This is what they've done with their money. They haven't given the money to bring you games, to bring you content, to bring you stuff. They just showed you they opened up their wallet, they showed it to you, and they said, I could buy anything I want. And they said, go home. And you're excited about that. That's the problem I have. Waiting for garbage. Look at this. A big team, they want to do this for newcomer friendly. This is what they're not trying to get back the audience that they lost, the PlayStation. And you looked up, they're buying studios. And again, I don't want to make that Activision deal seem that it is small change. It's big change. But let me tell you what. Call of Duty may sell, but Call of Duty's not. It's just people just buy it. Frog, you know you buy Call of Duty, but come on, is Call of Duty as good as it was in its heyday, like when you would play Call of Duty, or is it just kind of go with the motions by now?
It's definitely go with the motions.
It's not
just
hasn't been innovative at all. They have not. They've been tweaking, taking things away, adding jetpacks, taking them away, boots on the ground.
It's basically the shooter Madden. It's just
a shooter Madden. Exactly. It's just going with the punches. I'm good at this game. I'm just going to be good at it every year, so I'm going to buy it because I'm good at it. But the innovation really hasn't been in Call of Duty. Like what they were doing with Modern Warfare 1 versus Modern Warfare 2, with all the airstrikes and the crazy stuff, and then they added jetpacks. They took them away. They said boots on the ground. They said, let's go back in time. Let's go with robots and Terminator. Like, now let's go with a new engine finally, but when we'll take away the engine, we'll add it next year. Now we'll add zombies, but we'll make zombies mode. They innovated in zombies mode. Then they said, let's take out and make Warzone. Let's not do a campaign. It's been a crapshoot. And Microsoft is buying this stuff. Same thing with Fallout. Fallout 76 was a shell of Fallout and what Skyrim was to the franchise. Elder Scrolls Online, while it's good, it wasn't something that was like revered as the best MMO. These studios are on their downswing. Activision was looking for hand-me-outs to get out of the fire inferno that they put themselves in with all the crap that Demon Kodak dealt with over there. They're buying has-beens. And what's sad, and this is something that I wanted to bring into this whole Activision thing, was that I think somebody said it where with these big acquisitions that Microsoft has been doing, you're going to get people leaving. And you're going to get people leaving to make their own studios, their own games. Because they don't want to be part of this shell of Activision and maybe uncertain of what Microsoft is going to be. So they're going to leave and they'll make their own studios up. Just like, for example, look at Infinity Ward and look at Zampella. That was a microcosm of what's going to happen. As these big companies get absorbed up, little companies, the innovators, the talent is going to leave these places and start their own studios up. And who's going to be waiting there with 3 buttons unbuttoned, chest hair, and goddamn gold chains with the hand out the yacht going, you want to make quality? You come with me and I show you quality games. We only have quality here. Who's going to be pulling up with the yacht when these guys leave these big-ass companies and want to make a new studio? Jade Raymond, Deviant Games. And they want to make something new. That's right, who are you? That's a great use of that emoji. Who's going to be there waiting when the big dog, and I'm going to use this analogy for you, Grinders, and hit that.
It's not going to be Phil. It's not going to be Phil.
No, because they're buying it, dude. This is the analogy. Tell me if this is good. I've been thinking of this one. Microsoft, the big shark, and then here's a school of fish, and in the front there's this big, fat, juicy bobby fish, and he's rolling around, dude, going. And then there's all these fish behind him and going, you know what? I would love to be a lead. I would love to be a boss. I would love to do my own thing. And that big fat bobby fish is like, no, I'm the boss. I'm the leader. I'm the big juicy fish leading this train. You guys are not going to be better than me. You stay behind me. I'm the big juicy fish leading this school. And all these fish behind them are like, I want an opportunity. Give me an opportunity. And this bobby fish is there. And Microsoft coming with their big mouth. They don't see the little fish behind them. All they see is their big, fat Kodak fish. And they just come in and go, chomp. And they chomping on the big, fat fish. And guess what happens? All those other fish scatter and they go, I could be free now. I could do whatever I want. I could make my own studio. I could be creative. I had this idea, but that big, fat, goddamn fish wouldn't let me use my idea. He told me to go back. Now all the fish scatter while Microsoft is chewing on this fat, hollow Kodak fish. And all these little fish are able to run around and start their own lives and be the best. And then here comes the Herman fish. He goes, you come here to my office and I give you quality. You want to work with us? I make your dreams happen, quality fish. And there's Sony scooping up the talent. So Microsoft may be fed. They might have the name Activision plastered on their ass. But where's the heart and soul, the talent, the innovation, the people that wanted to do something? They're going to make their own stuff. And Sony and other companies are going to be there to soak up that talent. And Sony's been doing it.
Yep.
Sony's been doing it. They did it with Jade Raymond. She was scooped up by the Google shark.
Yep.
Big Google shark. Ate her up, but then they spit her out. They go, we don't need you. Jade Raymond's like, I need to make something. And there you go. Sony's like, get over here. Come make your dream with us. Oh, by the way, it's going to be exclusive. I don't care. Sony's giving the money to make it there. And they're getting the talent. And that's the thing. Microsoft is just seeing these big, juicy fish, eating them up, but they're hollow inside. The talent might leave. And that's where people say curating stuff. Now, we're going to get into the Bungie thing. But the one thing they made very apparent was that they've been working with Bungie for a while. This has been, they did it with Destiny, and now Sony announced today that they're acquiring Bungie. Also, with some caveats, there's some things, and I think some more Phil Ness and Jim Ness is going on. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
exactly.
This was the nut shot to Microsoft and the fact that they got a Microsoft-owned studio, and Bungie is quality. Now, the thing is Bungie can, it makes sense. And this is what, first I'm going to just say, I told you so. We told you so. And I got to go into the tapes here. And, just to recap. When everybody, before I get into this talent stuff, let me tell you something. So, and hopefully you like that story with the fish. Maybe I'll make a video. Somebody suggested that thing. I'll make a video. Grind, hit that like button. Let's do we get to 1,200 subs yet? Not yet. We're on our way to 1,200 subs. Let's go. We need like 5 or 6 more. We're almost there. So, let me leave you with this thing here. Let me leave with this little tidbit here. So when everybody said, how is Sony going to respond? Sony doesn't have the money because I'm rubbing myself with Microsoft $100 bills. Sony don't got the money. They can't compete with Microsoft money. Money. Sony's poor. Yep. And I made the point is like, well, if Sony's so poor, how did they bid out Microsoft and get timed exclusives with Deathloop and all these other games if they were so poor? Right?
They're calculated.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at hold on, you get the tape. Let me get the tapes. Where is it? Damn, where the hell is my thing? Oh wait, I put it on my post. So when everybody's saying, well, Microsoft don't got the money. Yeah, game night with the fish. Microsoft don't have the money to compete. They're fighting with the big leagues now because they poked the beast, the marshmallow. Well, and they're like, well, Sony could buy EA. They got the money. You know what? No. That's not how Sony works, dude.
That's not how Sony works.
Sony
Nope.
don't do that. What Sony's going to do is go for the throat. They're going to give you that friggin' karate chop right to the throat and hit you right where it hurts. And I said, a move that Sony would do, because Sony doesn't have the big multiplayer following of a first-party game. They don't have that service game. They don't have that stuff. And Microsoft, they got Warzone, and Warzone most likely will stay there. But they don't have that experience. The kill zones, people said bring back Resistance. Even those don't. They will be good for the immediate, but not for the long haul.
No, they need something big.
They need somebody that has that. And here, let's go. 2 weeks ago, when clowns in the media were going, "Oh, Sony's gonna buy EA," and dude, you're just being stupid media. Like, use your goddamn brain. Sony's just not going to go out and buy EA because they're not playing the same game Microsoft is. Microsoft is desperate for Game Pass numbers. So they're going to try to get big glamour shot, big billboard names saying Activision's part of Game Pass. Fuck if Activision releases anything besides Call of Duty, but we got Activision in Game Pass. Big billboards, marquee lighting. That's what Microsoft's doing. They're whining and dining you with big marquee lights from Bethesda. Bethesda, Activision. All part of Game Pass. Meanwhile, what's the content? You go into the bar and it's empty. It's like they're getting you with the marquee lights. Sony is not doing that. Sony's not going to buy somebody just to say, we got EA. Sony doesn't play that game. When Sony makes acquisitions, it leads to games. It doesn't lead to Phil Spencer doing interviews and talking out his asshole and having booty clap in the streets to his ass chapped. No. When Sony buys Fire Sprite, they're delivering you Horizon VR this year. When Sony buys a studio, you most likely get in a game. Because Sony's making money and making deals for games. So what were they going to do? Sony was going to make a deal for a game. Or they were going to do something. And here we go. 2 weeks ago, clowns talking about EA, grinds my gears, talking about this. Here's a prediction right here. We're talking about what Sony can do. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know if they're going to buy them, but I think they're going to partner with Bungie on their next game. Destiny 3 or whatever like that. I think that's a counter.
Bungie's working on
Did you guys see the meme with Bungie and PlayStation? I'm sure you did.
I think that's where they're going next. That's a multiplayer game. That is a big community.
I see them going for That's No Moon as well. Like that's
No Moon. But let's go back to hear what I had to say. We're talking about what Sony can do. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know if they're going to buy them, but I think they're going to partner with Bungie on their next game. Destiny 3 or whatever like that. I think that's a counter.
Bungie's working on
Did you guys see the meme? With
Yes, this is Jez Adamus, a.k.a. Grind Adamus. I will tell you your future. I told you. Think about how Sony buys content. They will partner with Bungie. I called this 2 weeks ago. I told you. Please, the gaming Grindhouse has spoken. I've come from the future. It's 2025, and Microsoft's still telling your ass to wait. I told you, nobody was talking about it. I said it. Nobody was talking about it. They're talking about EA. They could buy Take-Two. I'm like, what?
No, they were too busy talking like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, exactly. No, you got to think smart. Hell, and that's the thing. Like and even the stupid media. I saw GameSpot with their lame ass going, they're going to buy EA. I'm like, dude, that's not.
That makes sense.
That makes no sense. Why would Sony want to buy all the sports games and to have them put them on Microsoft's platform?
Well, no, they would have to put them in Microsoft platform because those licenses wouldn't stay. So it doesn't make sense to buy EA. Maybe you buy BioWare, maybe you buy Respawn, but EA is not going to let you do that because they know what they can do. So you have to buy EA as a whole company, and then you still have to put those sports games everywhere, just like they're doing with baseball. The MLB is like, yo, Sony, we know you make the baseball game, but it has to go everywhere. It's gonna. So Sony's like, shoot, we have no choice. What sense would it make for them to buy EA and have to put Madden and the FIFA and all that because they don't keep those NFL license. They have to bid for it, and then Microsoft can come with money and say, "Hey, we want to make a football game or a soccer game," and then the fact that they bought EA, they can't make that. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to buy small companies like, hey EA, we want to buy Respawn. Hey EA, we want to buy BioWare. That makes sense, but we know there again, EA is not going to sell these companies. There's no reason.
Yep. I told you, man. Yeah, PlayStation screwed. Like, my God. Like, exactly, Frog. Like, they are not going to put that. They're not going to put. No, but that was the message. Like, EA, like, Sony screwed. They can't handle Microsoft's future. But you look, and it's just like, they will partner. And I didn't think they were going to buy them. But I said basically that they will go.
We thought it was going to be a partnership.
I thought there was going to be a partnership. Just like what they did with Deathloop and stuff. Because I always said this point. I was like, Sony doesn't have to buy studios to get games, so they could just partner with them. But the fact that they bought them, and it really was I think it's a lot bigger deal than just the games actually on here. I feel that, and there's the picture. I don't know why Jim Gordon Ramsay Ryan looks like they picked them up in a friggin' bootleg hotel. Jim Gordon Ramsay looks like he's over here. Herman Holtz is like, I just came off my yacht and I see quality of Bungie. Jim Ryan, man. Jim Ryan, he looks like they picked him up on the streets on the way over. He's the driver.
I don't know. Chippy says PlayStation is screwed. I wonder how.
No, he retracted the message. Maybe he changed his mind.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was mocking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think that, and I don't know if we're in this Bungie conversation. I'm trying to
well,
wait
no,
to
we're in
hold.
Bungie now. I want to talk about the
Okay,
Bungie thing.
so
So, like, yeah, what
here's my
was your reaction to what was going on with the
here's
whole
my
thing?
thing. Great for Sony, but once again, how does this really help the industry as a whole as gamers?
Yeah.
When you like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want this to become a trend where Microsoft buys them, Sony buys them, Microsoft buys them. So I don't want that. I really, I would like some, because here's the thing. Sony said, hey, our games are staying multi-plat, but we know everybody lies. When it comes to money, they're gonna lie. They're gonna tell you, hey, yeah, it's staying multi-plat, but yeah, it may stay multi-plat, but what games? Right now Bungie's only doing, the Destiny game. So once Destiny's done, Destiny
Well,
has
yeah,
a
we'll break
decision.
it down, Frog. Yeah, so like, what do you like?
That's
What
what
do you
my whole
think is gonna happen from this? From what you
I
read,
personally think, for just reading it, I personally think that Bungie will and Sony will ultimately choose what games stay on PlayStation. But I think games like Destiny, if they come out with another Destiny, that's multi-plat. That stays. I don't know what other IPs Bungie owns outside of Destiny because they don't own Halo. But what I'll say is, I think that if Sony and Bungie are working together on an IP for PlayStation, then that doesn't go multi-plat. I think things like Destiny stays multi-plat, just like I think Call of Duty stays multi-plat. And the reason I think it stays multi-plat is because it makes money. It generates a lot of money. There's no reason, especially here's the big thing, especially because you have crossplay. There's no reason to take a game like Destiny or Call of Duty off of multiple platforms. Sony can sit back and say now, and this is the difference between the Bungie acquisition, the Bethesda acquisition, and the Activision acquisition. Bethesda will do the same games, same old same. Activision will do same old same. Bungie will make a new IP and it may be exclusive to Sony. Microsoft doesn't work like where, hey, we got Bethesda, so now they're gonna make a Halo, freaking Skyrim, Elder Scrolls type game. They're not gonna see, and that's the difference between when you're talking about PlayStation, Sony, and what they do. Bungie will make probably, and I guarantee it, we'll see an IP. Maybe it'll be a brand new IP, maybe nothing from the past, but Bungie will make something that's completely on the PlayStation ecosystem. And they're like, here, this is only on PlayStation. Destiny's everywhere else, but we made this new IP and it's only on PlayStation. We've seen this happen when Sony just, they acquire studios. I think this is a good fit, but there again, how does this help the industry as a whole? Because I don't want this to be an acquisition.
Well, Josh says here, he says it's just for the money to stop Microsoft from buying them. So how do you think that this was a block of like Microsoft buying it? Because apparently somebody else said too, like this was going on before Microsoft like went over to Activision.
I don't think so because Bungie did not, and basically in that last year, Bungie, let's just say in the Halo Reach era, Bungie had a hard time working with Microsoft. Microsoft was very controlling. We got to remember, Microsoft,
they didn't want to just be the Halo studio.
They wanted them to completely keep doing Halo like Microsoft does most of the studios. If you're working on the game, that's all you work on. And they had ideals for it, as we know it now. Destiny would have been an Xbox exclusive game.
I know. I always said, like, how the hell did they not let that be possible?
They did not want them to do that game. They just wanted them to do the same old thing. You keep doing Halo, and that's it. Microsoft is the kind of company with the Xbox game division. Whatever your company's doing, that's what you're doing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
They don't want you to try anything. And then when you do try something different, it's not of quality. And what I say is they don't really give you the back end, where Sony is like, hey, Bungie, you guys can work independently, but hey, if we got an idea and we put your idea for a game to you, that's our game.
Yeah.
But and so there's a difference between these acquisitions. And I think the biggest thing is Sony can buy and the PlayStation division, they can, when they're making games, I do think they give a lot of creative freedom to their studios. Just look at the games we've gotten last generation from between Xbox and PlayStation, and the new IPs that Sony have created have been amazing. We got Horizon, we got freaking what else? We got a new God of War, a whole new God of War. Not the same God of War. Mm-hmm. We got Ghost of Tsushima. We got Spider-Man. and a lot of people contribute to Spider-Man to freaking what's that game for that was on Xbox platform, the one where they're running around, Sunset Overdrive. They'll say, oh, all it is Sunset Over. Maybe it got some mechanics from there. I'm not going to deny that, but what I'll say is, you know, Sony has had the ability to, with the little bit of money that people say they have, to build relationships with different companies to show these companies, hey, this is why you kind of want to be over here. You know, we don't have all the money, but you're going to be a winning team. Your game is going to move numbers. Let me tell you something. I don't, and I'm going to say I don't think, and you know, dude, even pigs fly. I don't think Destiny will ever be a non-multiplayer game. Just like I don't think Call of Duty is a non-multiplayer game because I think
I'm gonna give my too
much money and it makes too much sense. So for Sony, this is not really a power move. What this is kind of slap you in the face, like, yeah, we're gonna slap you. We bought a team that basically started your console, made you guys big, and we're gonna keep this game multi-plat. But if they do something else, and we want them to, hey, we want you guys to do a new IP for us, that's going to be on our console. But you guys can still have Destiny. We can make money off of it.
Yeah.
And I think Microsoft will sit back and say, damn, you know what? Destiny's a big ass game. It makes a lot of money. Yeah, we got to put Call of Duty on PlayStation. This is a hey, we give you this, you give us that.
It's a leverage move, but also too, like, this was done before the Activision thing, and I think that, and you know, there might have been Microsoft maybe trying to go after Bungie, but I think both of them were looking
did not
for.
want to work with Microsoft anymore.
Well,
we already know that.
Or Sony outbid them with their cheap change, right? Because nobody could beat Microsoft money.
Mm-hmm.
But the
it's
thing
not
was,
even outbid.
is when
They just didn't want to work with
if you
Microsoft.
look at the acquisitions from the two ends of this thing. So Microsoft is buying so many similar type games studios. Like there's no rhyme or reason. Like they sucked up Activision with all this IP, with Call of Duty, with and then you have that on top of your own Halo game with id and Wolfenstein and Doom, and then you're making Perfect Dark, another first person shooter with your brand new studio that you built, another first person game, and then you bought Bethesda, who makes Elder Scrolls, but oops, you had Obsidian, who's also making Avowed, a fantasy first-person game. Oh, and by the way, here's Outer Worlds 2. Oh, and guess what? We're going to take one of our internal studios with Playground and make them make another Western RPG with Fable. And it's just a lot of redundancy. And where is the portfolio, the rhyme or reason? Is Fable, Avowed, and Elder Scrolls coming out together? Is Fable and Avowed coming out? Is Doom coming out with Halo Season 4? Like,
and I'm gonna tell you this, and you probably can agree with me. Out of the acquisitions that Microsoft has made, the biggest franchises that actually sell out of the Bethesda and the Activision deal is from Activision is Call of Duty. I'm not saying World of Warcraft. I'm just talking about just the console side. Call of Duty moves numbers, right? World of Warcraft does its thing, sure, but Call of Duty moves numbers. On the flip side, on that Bethesda side, Fallout and Elder Scrolls are like the only games that really pack big numbers. When you're talking about these games can bolster over 10 million, and the day they launch, those are the only 3 games that are guaranteed over 10 million copies. So when you put stuff like that in Game Pass, it does make it appealing to people who like games. Because I like Fallout, I like Elder Scrolls, I like COD. But if it's not on PlayStation, I'm like, shit. Either I'm buying an Xbox, or whatever Sony's going to give me, hopefully can combat against that. If the game is just my cup of tea, I'm not going to lie and say I wouldn't buy an Xbox ever for a Fallout game. But here's my problem with this. I do not want to be invested in Game Pass, and I think that the person that I am, the person that I am,
number one customer,
the onesies and twosies. Microsoft doesn't want me on their console anyway. They want me subscribed to a service, and that's why I'm like, why buy an Xbox to not subscribe to a service to buy 3 games? And they don't like the guy like me may get shafted. When I bought Halo Infinite, I'm like, yo, this wasn't a complete package. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the guy who actually buys the game gets shafted. The guys who's in Game Pass are happy because they're like, yay! It was a shit show, but we don't care because it was
Sony
free.
broke. That's right. Sony got no money.
Yeah.
But like, you know, shout out to Game Night 123. He goes, Microsoft could have acquired Bungie back in 2020 for $2 billion, with Bungie wanting to remain independent. Obviously, that didn't go through. Yeah,
They didn't.
exactly. And I think a lot of people wanted Microsoft, and they thought, no, what's funny is that what Frog was saying with the whole Game Pass thing. Do you remember last year, was it last year or 2019?
I know what you're gonna say, Jay.
When Destiny was put in Game Pass and Bungie broke away from Activision, everybody thought Microsoft and Bungie were getting buddy, and Bungie was going to work.
And that's what people thought.
That's what they thought.
And do a Halo game. That's
exactly.
What they thought.
So they thought that now that they're broken from Activision, big old bad Activision was bad at the time. Now they're in bed with them. But they were bad Activision. Bungie was able to do what they wanted to do, and they started buddying up with Microsoft again. And everybody's like, ooh, Destiny's in Game Pass. Bungie's on board. Oh, man, Bungie and Xbox are back. And
you're my number one customer.
With the Gestapo and said, we got you here. Shout out to Glinda for the $2. He goes, Bungie could make a decent Fallout-type game.
They could.
Dude, this is what I think with this whole thing. Because a lot of news is coming around, just like with the Activision thing, where Bungie is going to remain multi-platform, and Jim Ness was going around going like, oh, more people, we're going to be putting our games on everywhere. Sony's going to be an independent studio. So I think the main thing of this deal is that Bungie is going to keep any IP that it creates. So Sony doesn't own the Destinies or whatever IP. Bungie still has that. So I think that was part of the deal, that Bungie owns the IP. Even though Sony
always wanted to
owns them.
They always had, right.
Yes, and I think that was the deal, because Sony would be like, well, now we own them. So they're not going to slap a Sony tramp stamp on Destiny. But basically, Sony is in the helm of this thing. So what I think is going to happen is that Destiny will remain multi-platform. I think moving forward, they're saying that Bungie's next game is going to be multi-platform, but I think Sony is going to keep that game. When they say multi-platform, I think they're speaking about PC and PlayStation.
Do you remember?
That's what I think. I don't think they're talking. Frog, do you think they're talking about putting their game on Xbox? Like, I think they're kind of talking about putting their game on PlayStation and PC.
I think that anything that is a Sony intellectual IP, so i.e., let's just go with some names: Resistance, Killzone, SOCOM, anything that's a Sony property or Sony has an idea to come up with, it stays on PlayStation and maybe PC. I think that the intellectual properties that Bungie owns, it can be multi-plat, but I think that anything, and people have to understand, Insomniac and Bungie, there were two reasons why they didn't want to work with Microsoft, especially Bungie. Because
Microsoft wanted to own. Well, no, that's why Insomniac didn't want to work with Sony and went to Sunset Overdrive to Microsoft, because Sony wanted the IP of Sunset Overdrive, which they wound up getting back anyway, which is hilarious. But
Sony let them keep all their intellectual IPs except for stuff they didn't own, like Ratchet.
Exactly.
So Bungie and Insomniac, they have a lot of games that they're their own that Sony doesn't own. But the thing is, and the other reason is, Bungie said Microsoft just wanted us to do Halo games, and we wanted to do something different. We're moving in a different direction, and Microsoft was like, no, we want you to make a Halo game. And they're like, no, we want to make this game. And I sat back and I said, man, Microsoft, you blew everything, because now you had to create a whole new studio, and and they're making Halo games. And I just think this is kind of one of those things that, and I think that Bungie's games still come to Microsoft's platform, the Xbox, PC. They come to PlayStation. Any intellectual IP that Sony has that they want them to make. Yeah, I do. I definitely think that it only goes on PlayStation. So, for instance, they do a Destiny 3. That's a multi-plat.
Hold on a second. Let me fix something with the sound here. My sound is there you go. Froggy, you better? Hello?
Yeah.
You're still buzzing. You might have to come out and come in for me, but but yeah, somebody wanted to see the actual word for Bungie. And this is the thing, right? I think with all these acquisitions, I think right now everybody is trying to expand and move these things to bigger to bigger platforms. And I think that for PlayStation, this purchase fills in a gap. And what I was trying to finish my point about, when Microsoft made these acquisitions and just bought a whole bunch of just like IP and kind of like very, redundant kind of things. That's not like, this is our RPG studio. They're going to make some great RPG. They bought like Bethesda and Obsidian. They'll make similar games.
Microsoft is going.
So it's like,
this studio.
Dude, it's like, well, where do we sit? Like, is id gonna make Wolfenstein, Halo? Like, I guess you're gonna have to space all that stuff out. Sony had a need for an online multiplayer shooter, and especially with the news that and again, this was done before that, but when you look at Call of Duty, that had about a couple more years left, and they had a gap. They did not have Killzone was not coming back and doing this service thing. Competing with Destiny.
Not at all.
Hell, even Halo. Halo's not even in the realm of competing with a Call of Duty or a Fortnite or anything. Sony knows that, dude, you cannot. We're not going to come back with Resistance. We're not going to come. Nope. Yeah, I'll go back to for this thing.
We're not even going to come back.
We're not going to come back with Resistance. We're not going. SOCOM is not going to be there with Fortnite. It's hard to do that. So Sony had a gap. And everybody's like, Sony needs multiplayer games, right? Well, and they couldn't get Activision. They couldn't do that stuff. So what they did was they partnered with Bungie. And in their thing, they go, we could have went out. Jim said, we could have tried to make a service-based game and do this stuff. But we could just partner with Bungie. And Bungie already has it. And they kind of pulled the Microsoft card. Sony basically was like, we could have tried it and maybe not been successful with it. But Bungie's been there. And we could grab some of the Bungie talent. Let's put them under our roof. So they basically pulled the Microsoft and said, hey, we're not going to be able to make our own. Let's just buy them. And the unfortunate thing is that with Microsoft's purchase and Microsoft's moves in Bethesda and stuff, it's forcing the other companies to do the same thing. Like and this is where I didn't like what the Bethesda thing was going to do. Then the Activision thing really shook up the industry, and now everybody's fair game. EA, Take-Two, all this stuff, and it's unfortunate, this consolidation. And I think a lot of them are trying to avoid that consolidation by coming out and being like, oh, we're going to put games everywhere for everybody, but let me tell you this. It's a business. And when push comes to shove, and I said the same thing. Here come my Jezadamas. I said the same thing with the Activision deal. Microsoft's in control of Call of Duty. If those Game Pass numbers are not hitting the way they want, maybe one year the campaign goes in Game Pass, or maybe the multiplayer comes only on a platform for 6 months. They will leverage the stuff that they have. But you can't leverage it if you don't own it. So PlayStation partnering with Bungie and having Bungie as part of PlayStation Studios, even though they're going to remain independent in the fact that they're going to do what they want to do, PlayStation's still pulling on the coach strings. And they could manipulate whatever they want to do to favor themselves. So, hey, you know what? We'll put Destiny everywhere, but Bungie's next game, we need those PlayStation numbers. Let's put it as a one-year exclusive, and then we'll put it everywhere. Put it on PC and PlayStation, and maybe it goes to Xbox. Don't trust them. Don't trust Microsoft. Don't trust Phil Ness. Don't trust Jim Ness. All you know is Activision's in Xbox camp and Bungie is in PlayStation camp. And that's the only thing that we know now. And we know that Warzone's going to stay. And we know that Destiny is going to stay.
Yeah, it's a fair trade. It's like, go.
That's it.
Like when I know,
that's all you know.
I know Microsoft. Microsoft congratulated them. And
I
Microsoft
just put that. Phil congratulated them.
Microsoft probably knew this was in the works, and they're probably like, "Oh shit!" Well, they got Destiny, and the fact that they did say this is working before the Activision deal. Maybe Microsoft knew and was like, "Yo, we just make a bold move and try to get Activision announced that it'll shake the market up." Who knew that this Bungie deal was happening? A lot of people thought it made sense, but nobody knew for sure. And then for this to come out, now I think that what you sit back and you look at is like Sony saying, "Yeah, we're gonna keep Destiny multiplayer." And Microsoft's like, shit, we look like the bad guy if we don't keep Call of Duty multiplayer also. So we have no choice at this point. A lot of people, let me say something to the fanboys out there. There are too many people who are driving this home for a piece of plastic, and that's not what we're doing here. What we're saying is we understand business and how is this good for the gaming industry. And then another thing I'll tell you I'm saying is like, I see a lot of people who are like, okay, cool, they got it, but I didn't see the same reaction on the other side. They were like, oh, a lot of people who are fanboying for Activision purchase,
They're like, pull Call of Duty off of everything we won, Microsoft money.
And here's the thing, they don't even play Call of Duty. You know how many people today on Twitter were like, yo, I can't believe this happened, and hopefully this is still on Xbox. And I was like, you guys play more Destiny than you play anything on freaking Xbox. You guys are going to be okay. Don't worry about it. But I didn't see that vice versa when people on the PlayStation side were like, man, what's up with Call of Duty? Xbox guys are like, man, fuck you guys.
Dude.
We don't. And I'm like, look, you shouldn't want that. You should not want a company, no matter who you primarily play on, going out there buying a company and then taking something away from the established community. That hurts the community, and that's not good for gaming.
It's not.
It's not good for gaming. People are saying, oh, well, when Sony gets Spider-Man, isn't that freaking gatekeeping? That's not gatekeeping. That's the same thing.
Nope.
I just don't understand why people don't get, like, why this could be bad. If Sony coming out, and what I honestly say, by reading everything they've said, I do think that any intellectual IP that Sony holds dear to their heart, they want Bungie to make, is on PlayStation only. I think Destiny 2, whatever DLC, Destiny 3, whatever they do with Destiny, will be multi-plat everywhere that it can be played. I think it happens. So I don't think there's a problem. There's not a problem where people on Xbox have to worry or PC have to worry if Destiny's going to be there. It's going to be there. It makes too much money. Sony's
they're
about
not
Frog.
And listen, they're not going to disrupt. This is the thing. They have an established community with Warzone, with Activision,
model,
and now they have a community established with Destiny. They cannot come in here and disrupt those communities by saying, yo, the future of Destiny is in question. Wherever you play, you might not get it. You might not get it on Xbox. You might get it on PlayStation first. That's why they're very careful with their words during these acquisitions, is that we are bringing the stuff to where people play, knowing that, hey, all you guys that have billions of hours in Destiny, we're not messing with you. You're going to still be able to play where you're going to play. You Warzone guys on PlayStation, Microsoft got you. But what I'm saying, and you're saying, is that in the future, a new IP, a Call of Duty campaign, an Activision thing, a Bungie new IP, they might have some exclusivity to a PlayStation platform and Activision to an Xbox platform. That's the thing.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, because I heard some people saying this. They're like, oh, Sony had a board Activision. They wouldn't have put Call of Duty. Yes, they would. They'd be stupid. It makes too much money. It makes too much money. Microsoft doesn't have to do that because they're a multi-trillion-dollar company. Sony's like a billion-dollar company. Sony's like, yo, we're gonna make your money. So if they bought the freaking Activision, they would definitely have Call of Duty be a multi-plat. It couldn't be just in the PlayStation buy zone and recover that money. And here's the same. It's not the same as Sony getting a Square Enix or a Capcom or an Atlas or a From Software. Those games sell regardless of how you feel where they're at, primarily on PlayStation. They primarily sell on PlayStation. So if Sony went and bought a Square Enix or a Capcom or a From Software, those games sell big on PlayStation. So if they were only on PlayStation, the biggest difference is that's what they were selling in the first place. Call of Duty was selling everywhere. So people need to use their brains when they think, well, if Sony bought Square Enix, Final Fantasy would only be on Play. It's only on PlayStation now.
Yeah.
Because that's where it sells.
Well, I said exactly, because that's where it sells. And that's why Sony doesn't have to go out there. They don't have to, not saying they won't, but Sony doesn't have to go out there and start writing checks and say, hey, Square Enix, we want to own you now to get your games. Dude, they don't need to do that. Microsoft, on the other hand, has to own these companies to force them through Game Pass. Yes. That's why I have a problem with Microsoft buying stuff, is because they're trying to force them through Game Pass, and they're trying to make everything go through the subscription. They're not doing this to make new IP and games and do all the stuff for you. They're doing this to make sure that everything that comes out of Activision, everything that comes out of Bethesda, all goes through Game Pass, because it was not naturally happening with the minuscule 25 million people over 5 years. So Microsoft had to strong arm big companies, big publishers to put their games in Game Pass. And Sony doesn't have to do that. Sony is buying companies to fill in empty holes.
Because that's why Sony doesn't have to go buy a Square Enix.
They don't need to buy Square Enix. That's why they don't need to go buy.
They don't need to buy them stuff. sell on PlayStation like hotcakes. When the Final Fantasy game comes out, it sells. They don't have to go buy.
They don't have to. Not saying they won't, but they don't have to.
Not saying they won't, but they don't have to.
But they might to block another purchase of somebody owning that IP, or Microsoft might own Bungie and Activision, so they're like, hey, we need to have something in this game. We need a service game.
And I'm gonna use a black bond term. These born in 3D gamers, these guys who really don't know the history of these companies, Sony and Square Enix are very, very close. When I say they're very close, you got to understand there was a point where Square Enix was going to bite the bullet and and Sony was like, look, we'll do this, and that. And they just recently, helped them back, give them, but basically got themselves back acquired. My whole thing is this. Sony doesn't have to make these purchases because they have good relationships with Square Enix. Not saying they'll never own them. They don't have to do this with Capcom. They don't have to do this with most of their companies, these Japanese companies, because they're like, look, we know your games sell. We know our games sell on Nintendo and PlayStation products. They don't move on Xbox. So maybe we'll put them in Game Pass after a year or two, and maybe we won't. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't make sense to go out there and just start acquiring a whole bunch of companies when you got good relationships with them. Bungie and Sony had a good working relationship, for years. In the PlayStation era for years. Here's the thing.
But the thing is, Frog, is that the whole this is what pisses me off, though, is that I'm really just sick of this whole buying up companies if it doesn't yield games. And that's totally the thing. I hate waiting, and I hate this whole like we bought this guy, we got this guy. It's like, but he hasn't gone on the field yet to show if he's even worth a damn. Like, where are the games? Like, I just hate this whole buying stuff.
Let me ask you a question, Jess. Phil Spencer said he wanted to reach 2 billion people, right?
Yeah.
And you know what Sony's response should have came back? And I would honestly do this to Sony, and this is such a freaking dick move, but I would do it. And the only reason I would do it is because, Phil Spencer, you want to reach 2 billion people. Well, we're going to show you how we reached 500 million people in the history of our console. From the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 5, look at the console sales. We're almost at 500 million already.
Yeah.
So you want to reach 2 billion. We're just trying to reach that 500 million that we sold to already. And that's the key thing. People got to look. Dude, when PlayStation is selling 100 million a pop every generation, you're like, yo, you guys already reached 500 million people. Microsoft's thinking so big that they're thinking Windows XP and Windows 95 and Windows this and they're thinking on that level. Oh, we can reach them like, Apple Music, and we can reach them like this. Okay, you got to start small. If Game Pass is your way to do it, then okay, go ahead and produce games. No, Microsoft's like, nah, we're growing too slow. Just start buying companies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft tried to buy EA. Don't be surprised.
Oh, I think EA's next.
You hear me? I think EA is next for Microsoft.
EA will not go to Sony.
No, I think EA's going to. I think Microsoft's going to buy EA next year. That's my next
honestly,
prediction.
The only thing I can see Sony doing if an EA acquisition happens, which I don't want to happen for Microsoft, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I do think EA is going to be purchased by Microsoft because they work too well together.
So. Yeah.
But on the flip side, I think Ubisoft is another company that's up for grabs because their games are just not their service type games. They want to do that. So maybe Sony goes in there and swoops and buys Ubisoft, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't cared about Ubisoft's games really realistically since Black Flag. I don't think they've made really amazing and stellar games. Look, they're shutting servers down for games that really failed. So
did you see that they're shutting down to see if these PvP? So they keep going.
Ubisoft's on the cutting board. And there's a couple other companies, but if Sony wants to, Sony can go snatch up from software. But what's the point?
My God! Microsoft, see what you created, you sons of bitches. This is what I didn't want to happen. This whole sucking up talent and all this other stuff. Because
I think this is bad.
It sucks. And I'm telling you, that Activision thing was disruptive.
Here's the other thing, Jay.
Frog, wait 1 second. Remember last week we were talking about Destin was like, and Sony's sucking up studios. They got the Angry Birds developer from the 360.
Oh my God.
Yo, he must be shook as shit now. They basically got fucking Bungie. He must be like, he was pissed off when they bought the Xbox 360 Angry Birds.
Justin Legary is a clown.
Now he must be going crazy. But this was a move. I'm gonna say this was a move that So, like, in order to count, this is the only, and that's why I said it as my prediction. The only counter that Sony could do to kind of say we got something else was to get a service, another game that is like this multiplayer centric game. Yeah. And what's crazy is because Sony knows that they don't have one. This is where you look at Microsoft and go, Microsoft, you're telling me that Halo's a service game. You're telling me that this is that Sea of Thieves is a service game. So why are you going out there buying more service games in Warzone and stuff like that? Like, you just keep holding up the services. Sony really don't have a service game, and we're making one. This fits a emptiness that they have in their portfolio. So this would make sense for them to go out and work with Bungie, because they needed to put in. They didn't. Everybody remember when Activision was purchased. Everybody's like, Sony got nothing. They can't compete. And then I remember when I said Bungie and I said how to trigger people. I'm like, just say Sony's going to work with Bungie. Oh my God. They were so triggered in the chat.
We said that.
Frog.
We said all they got to do is just come out with DLC.
When I said Sony's going to work with Bungie, they're like, oh no way. Sony can't work with Bungie. They don't have the money. They can't afford Bungie. They're not going to work with Bungie. No way. And everybody got triggered. Even I saw, like, as soon as you said they're going to work with Bungie, I was in like Crossfire. They were talking about Crossfire. I was saying that. They're like, oh, no Bungie, no, nobody. Because you know what? That's tugging on the heartstrings. But I knew that is the move that Sony would do. Sony would go for the jugular. They would go for a game that could compete and work with Warzone. This is another
thing people aren't thinking about, right? This
but
really
they didn't want to hear it. Now they're like, Frog, now they're like, oh, yeah, it's Bungie.
The acquisition of Bungie, of Bethesda, and of Activision, it doesn't really affect Nintendo in any way, shape, or form. To a certain extent, it really doesn't. Why? Because third-party games really don't. Nintendo makes a lot of first-party games. Third-party games aren't their forte, but they do like Sony does. They do the partnerships and say, hey, we want Ubisoft to make a game for us. We want blah, blah, blah. That's why, I can see Ubisoft getting purchased by Microsoft. I can see EA getting purchased by Microsoft. And then that just leads to Japanese
look at the purchase. We said about the purchases when Activision was shopping around on Facebook because they were in trouble.
People saying, oh, Microsoft's going to buy Capcom. What Capcom game sells on the Xbox better than it sells on PlayStation?
But first off, that would be a smart purchase. But that would be a smart purchase for Microsoft because they need those Japanese games on their platform. Instead of buying up games that were already coming there, they should be buying studios that don't put games on their platform so they could bring games to the people. But they're not bringing games. They don't care about bringing games.
Purchase, but what I also think is I also think that what Capcom properties sell on Microsoft's Xbox like that, they don't.
Well, if they own them, they don't care.
They just put them in, they only put them in Game Pass.
They only don't care.
If Sony is smart, Sony makes deals with Square. And like I said, Square Enix, I'm not saying they purchase them, but if Sony's smart, they make strong deals with Square Enix, strong deals with From Software, with Capcom, with Namco Bandai, with Atlas. And the reason you make these strong deals is because not only do they come to your platform, if you notice, a lot of these companies I named, their games are also going to what other console? Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
They're not going to Xbox, but they're going to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation because it helps Nintendo and it helps Sony. It doesn't do it. Those Japanese companies don't.
And now that we're speaking about Sony, Frog, they're saying that Jim Ryan also said in his thing. First of the two things I wanted to say is like this whole multi-plat thing, and this thing where they found a generation spanning entertainment. Another thing I think of this deal, which is I'm not super excited about, but I do think this might lead to maybe them making like a Destiny or something with their IP, a movie or some sort of entertainment. Like it sounds like this global multimedia entertainment company that Bungie now is working with Sony to work on this, like this big transmedia they call it, where movies and entertainment and books and I'm not a huge fan of all these movies and stuff like that, but it's another way of getting people in the door to experience these franchises, and it's a gateway drug. It's basically a way to get people in.
I just had a thought. I just had this tinfoil hat moment. What if? Check this out. What if Sony? This is a thought. What if Sony goes to Disney and say, "Hey, Disney, we want you to create something new in the Marvel franchise, and like what? We want you to do a Destiny TV show series, and it's in like and not Marvel, but in vein of like the Marvel franchise." and they say, we're going to work with Sony, and Sony's going to do. We're going to go ahead and help Sony and Disney and Sony pitch together, and they do a Destiny franchise on Disney Plus.
Hey,
I think that could be a big deal.
Destiny VR, Ghostface, and that's another thing, and that's great call. Ghostface.
There's so many. There's a lot of good things.
So the other thing too is that he was saying about Jim Ryan said in his his media that biz thing, games.industry.biz article.
Yes.
He also said that there are a lot of other ways that we want to bring this franchise and these experiences to you that I can't go into right now to access, and I think that's one of the things. I think a Destiny VR or a Destiny movie and things like that, because Sony's been thinking bigger and bigger like this to bring that. Now, Destiny VR, that would be pretty damn awesome, and I really think that world could do that. Imagine maybe making almost like a No Man's Sky type Destiny VR, where you could go to different planets and explore and things like that. And you know how Bungie is with their lore; they love their lore, and if you could do collectibles and in VR to kind of enhance the Destiny story and things like that.
You know what they would do, and this is the scary thing. This is the scariest thing. This is why I you got to start looking at these things as big. There's bigger. We heard Microsoft talking about Phil Spencer talking about living in what's it called, the whateververse,
the metaverse, exactly. This is a metaverse thing. That's what they said the Activision deal was.
Destiny is a metaverse thing.
Metaverse game, exactly.
Not only is the metaverse thing, it's an NFT thing too.
Oh,
this is scary. He's in a scary time period. This is why. Look, when I went on Twitter today and I saw this thing pop up by Sony acquiring Bungie. You know what Twitter, the first thing it said, hey, if you want to change your profile pic, you can change it to an NFT. I was like, what the fuck?
No, man, they're coming. They're knocking at your door.
Telling you. Let me tell you something. This is the times we're prepared for. People are going to own stuff that absolutely has no value, and they're going to think it really has value.
Dude, it's a mess. But I do think you make a great point with the whole metaverse thing, because that was one of the big things that the Activision deal was to have. And I was scratching my head because Microsoft really doesn't even have a VR system at all, but they're talking about this metaverse, and they're talking about when people walk into this metaverse with their VR headset, this virtual world, they want, you're going to need gaming is going to be one of the lead things to pull people into these communities. And Call of Duty Warzone was that, and that's where Call of Duty, this Activision thing, was the metaverse stuff. So this is another thing where Sony really didn't have a metaverse type thing, and now with Destiny, they have that kind of service game that kind of could go hand in hand with Call of Duty.
Yep.
That's why I think that this Destiny is going to be their gateway drug, but there might be other Bungie projects that might be there. It depends on the scenario. But the thing is the same thing I said with the Call of Duty thing. Microsoft had the game ball for Activision. If their numbers weren't hitting, they were taking their ball and going home. Now Bungie and PlayStation got the ball with Bungie and Destiny. If this is not going the way we want, we need to sell more of this. We're taking our Bungie game ball and we're going home. It is a standoff. How it benefits us, I don't know. I'm not liking this thing. I think that I don't like this whole I'm buying this company, you buying this company. I don't know how that's going to affect us. I don't think it's going to be great. But right now they're promising that everything's status quo, but I think they're just waiting to kind of pull the okie dokie on all of us.
Yeah. How does this really benefit us? And that's the problem.
I don't know.
I don't see how this benefit me, not just as a PlayStation gamer, but as a gamer, because the minute you say, hey, Destiny's only on PlayStation, I lost my friends I played on Xbox through crossplay. Look, I want to make another point about Destiny. Something else I saw Luca say, and Luca's a huge Destiny freaking player. I thought I played Destiny. No, she plays Destiny. I probably got combined from me playing Destiny 2 on my PlayStation 5 when I did the patch, and then on PS4, I probably got close to 500 hours, which seems like a lot. Luca has over 1,800 hours. So she close. And there's only one game I've ever put 3,000 hours in. That was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I was addicted to getting that. But what I'll say is this. I would hate to see me lose friends that do play on Xbox, and that's their primary way to play. But what I'll say is a lot of people who are upset about this deal also on both sides, on PlayStation and Xbox sides, they don't even play the game.
Yeah, but Frog, wait a second. Wait. You're saying people upset. This is the one thing I wanted to show you. is that the difference of the reception of
Oh,
this thing.
completely.
First off, you're talking about big deals with Activision and Microsoft and lawyers and all this other stuff a year or so before it closes. This Bungie thing is done. They're part of PlayStation Studios. Let's get the ball going. Let's see the Destiny VR. Like, we're ready to go. Microsoft is still like, well, with the lawyers, maybe next year. But look at the reception of this. Tim Sweeney, congratulations, Sony and Bungie. We have Thomas Puna, who says, Pua, Sony is getting access to unbelievable experience and talent at Bungie. Yes. Creators of Halo and Destiny, short-sighted to look at just IP. You get so much more with all that experience. Very excited for my friends at Bungie and glad Destiny is staying multi-platform. And who's this guy? Who's this guy? He's the communications director at Remedy.
Yep.
But the reception of this was definitely, the reception. And then on top of that, Jim Ness goes, we're not done. So he says, absolutely expect more acquisitions. And again, he goes, I've been in talk with taking the increased size of PlayStation community and expanding beyond the historic console hotland. So this is that whole PC thing.
And that's the PC round that we're going into. Yeah.
This is my take, and definitely one of the main, the main ones, the ability for wonderful games that we've been making over 25 years and them being experienced on the consoles. We are starting to go multi-platform. You've seen that. We have an aggressive roadmap with live services and the opportunity to work with and particularly learn from the brilliant talent of the people from Bungie. That's going to considerably accelerate the journey we find ourselves on. And that's the thing. Like, that's why I feel like Bungie is going to be that PlayStation PC kind of studio for them with their live service aspect of it. But at any time, and that's basically what it is. And that's where I think Bungie fits in this, where they're going to be that kind of crust. And I said, Sony will dab its feet. It will say, hey, we're putting games over here. We're putting games there. I'm not saying they never were going to do it. But the one thing they're not doing is they're not going to compromise everything that they built with the PlayStation in lieu of that. Not yet. If they do, I'll call them out. But Microsoft did that. They made the console player feel minuscule while they went go poking their ass around in PC and saying basically like PC exclusives, PC's better, like the premium platform we're developing for, and they didn't deliver any goods to the console owner. That was the problem, and they still have.
You want to hear something funny? Remember, you ever watch Rush Hour? Rush Hour 3, when Chris Tucker's on the boat and there's a shooting, they start fighting and everything, and then Chris Tucker tells Jackie Chan, follow rich white dude. He was like, why? He's like, it was a lot of shooting and stuff going on. He was just too calm, dude. When that news came out of Activision Blizzard, Sony did not respond and they were too calm about it. And people was like, why are they so calm? Why they not? They really didn't respond at all. But now we know why. They already was like, we already acquired Bungie.
You're right. We're already working with Bungie. We're never working with Activision again. Boo-hoo.
You guys got Activision, but should we tell Microsoft we got Bungie? Like, that's why they were so. People were like, "Oh my gosh!" When they woke up this morning, they must be shitting themselves. They probably woke up and was like, "Well, okay, well, we already acquired Bungie, and they just don't know it yet." But
Sony is going to leverage its platform, but it will expand its audience, and it seems so far what they're doing with the PC stuff is that they're doing it the right way. I've seen a bunch of posts where people played Horizon on PC, and they're like, "I got to get Horizon 2," and basically. They got to go get a PlayStation or PlayStation Pro to go play Horizon 2. So it's working in some aspects where people I see in the comments of Horizon are like, dude, like, I'm going to go get Horizon. Horizon was great on PC. I'm going to get it. And he says it here that it's not about pulling people into the PlayStation world.
It's not.
But they will. Trust me. They're not abandoning the PlayStation, because if they are, they're going to be just as dope as Microsoft. If they do, you know where to come right here to hear how Sony just shit themselves.
It doesn't make sense for Destiny to only be on PlayStation. It does make that sense for that thing to be.
Yes, it's a live service game. It makes sense. They needed to match. They needed to match. When Microsoft changed the game with owning Call of Duty, and Sony is feeling this pressure with Microsoft, and I'm telling you, that Bethesda thing, the publisher buyouts really changing the game. What Microsoft is doing is going to have an effect on the whole industry, and obviously it made them go. And Sony's acquiring studios, which they never did in years. They never acquired studios. They bought like 5 studios last year. Now they bought Bungie, and like this is not, again, this Bungie thing is not a partnership. What I thought that's what it was going to be. They actually acquired them, so they own Bungie. Now they're telling Bungie, you could be independent, you could do what you want, but they got the heartstrings, and I think it's all PR too. What you're seeing, all this stuff here, I do think it's a lot of PR and a lot of gymnasts and film nets. And trust me, it's the loaded gun. And shout out to Harrius Johnson back. Pause. $5. He goes, Apple and Amazon should just give Sony unlimited money so they could buy Microsoft and save gaming forever. Facts. Dude, the one thing I think now that's funny because everybody was saying that Sony didn't have the money to do any kind of big deals, and again, they're not buying publishers. But that Josh, you know what, Josh Harris says this thing. They made this announcement weeks before the Horizon thing, and that's the thing. Like Sony is not sitting here saying wait for games. No, the games are coming out, and oh, by the way, in the back burner, they're buying studios and buying stuff to make new games for your future while they're releasing games now. Microsoft's in what happened from 2018? What happened to Baby Jane from 2018 studios? We still don't know what those are. We still don't know what Perfect Dark is. We still don't have any clue what these games are. Halo's a friggin' disaster of what they're releasing now.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. And they're buying publishers upon publishers, getting like 20, 30 IPs, and they still haven't released the games that they were supposed to release and show the purchases that they made in 2018. Microsoft's buying more off than they can chew. Sony's delivering you quality games for the last 5 years, and on top of that, into a new generation. And oh, by the way, we're doing the stuff with Bungie and with Jade Raymond, and also we still have our other studios. It's the best of the best. And we got a VR, by the way, a VR too. Like Sony's just hitting it on all aspects, where if we were just sitting here staring at ourselves, staring at the screen going, they bought Bungie. Well, I hope there's a game coming out later on that we could play from something. I would have a problem with this. But because they're releasing games and announcing new innovative technologies with new games coming to them with VR, and doing this on top of it, they're hitting every facet of gaming. And as a gamer, you got to say, yo, this is exciting because you're getting your cake and eating it too. Where Microsoft is, you're just waiting for your cake, and you've been at the birthday party for 5 years.
When I told my wife of the whole acquisition with Microsoft and Activision, she's a big Call of Duty component. She loves Call of Duty. She doesn't care anything about any other game.
You're my number one customer.
Call of Duty. When I told her about the Bungie acquisition with Sony, she was like, "Well, shoot, that's the second best game that I play outside of Call of Duty." So you see what I'm saying? Like for a person who's kind of casual, her choices of her shooter is like Call of Duty, and then it's like Destiny, and then she's not a big Fortnite player, but she's like Call of Duty or Destiny, and then she's like, as long as Minecraft is on PlayStation, she plays it. So what I'm saying is, as far as her being a casual and playing shooters, Call of Duty is like her number one, and Destiny's her number two, like their go-to game. There were times that we didn't play Call of Duty for months straight because we were in Destiny 2 grinding. And so what I was
grinding.
Her hearing that Sony's acquired Bungie, she was like, "Oh, that was kind of a slap to face to Microsoft." She's like, "Because didn't they make Halo?" She knows this. And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, hopefully," she's like, "we can still play with the people who have Xboxes," and that's what she said. And I was like, "Oh, they said they will." She was like, "Oh, I wonder if they're gonna make a new shooter." For PlayStation by itself. I was like, that's a possibility. She was like, well, at least she's like, well, we'll forever. She's like, if we don't get to play Call of Duty because it's exclusive to Xbox, we'll get Destiny. It doesn't matter. So like that made her happy. And I think that's what we're going to start seeing. People who are
that's what they need to make sure. They got to make sure that they're happy. Like that's the thing. Those are communities they don't want to destroy.
Right, but if Call of Duty becomes that game where it's on Xbox, I'm pretty sure people will be like, well, I don't care because I can just go play Destiny.
Well,
or
then
whatever,
Sony probably takes Destiny. I'm telling you, like right now, it is a standoff. Like they got you want to pull Call of Duty, we'll pull Destiny, or we'll pull Bungie's game. You want to pull Call of Duty's games, we'll pull this.
All got something gamers want, and this is
Exactly.
the only thing this could hurt is it could hurt the industry and hurt
us.
gamers.
And if they get into a friggin' a cockfight, we're in trouble.
And that's what I don't want. I want to, I want people on Xbox to be able to play Resident Evil and the other games that Capcom make, the Street Fighters, which it seems like Street Fighter just does well on PlayStation.
I forgot Game Night with Game Night 123. Thank you again for the super chat. He says, and the state of play for GT7 is this Wednesday.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, there will be a Grinds Bite on Wednesday for that one. So stay tuned, Grinders. But with that, I want to say, let's wrap this.
Hold on.
What's up?
No, I just found my wife's wedding ring. She dropped it in my room and she couldn't find it. I found it.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming through, man. We're wrapping this up. There's more stuff to come. I'm losing my voice here. It's wild time. I need another drink. But we hit over 100 likes. We had over 140 people watching. I know it's a busy night. I know everybody was going crazy about this Bungie thing. We just getting our initial reactions in here. We'll see what's going on with this, but we called it. We said it. And this was the move that Sony needed to do, and it was definitely one that I think hurts a little bit. If you're an Xbox fan, this one hurts. Just like the Call of Duty thing, it was a little bit of a gut punch to Sony, like going like, yo, we got Call of Duty now. We got the leverage. The only way Sony could have responded, and again, this wasn't a response. This is not a heavyweight fight, just battle. But the thing is that I feel, and the reason why I said is because Sony needed this, and Sony was able to partner with Bungie because they didn't have this kind of leverage with multiplayer shooting, live service, or like living world games. They didn't have that, and this fills in that gap. And that's why I said that was a move that Sony was going to do, and they did it. And we got it. We said it here, and that makes sense. And where it goes from here, we'll see. Multi-plats, exclusives. All I know is that Sony got the Bungie game ball, and Microsoft got the Activision game ball. So, Frogs, tell them where they can find you, and hit that like button and subscribe. We're almost at 1,200. Frog, tell them where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Frog's Dreams on YouTube, at Frog's Dreams on Twitter. Let's see, Frog and Pepper on PlayStation, Frog and Pepper when I do get on Xbox. These are interesting times. Never thought we'd be in a freaking. These are Sega Genesis moment. I'm sorry, these are Dreamcast moments where companies are leaving the industry and new things are being made, and we're just like, yo, Microsoft has crashed and Spyro, and and now Sony has. Look, you got to think about this. The things that made these companies so big they're owned by each other now.
I know, that's crazy. I never seen Sony and Bungie together. Like, who would thought?
Never thought. Well, there's a whole story. Sony actually, Bungie went to Sony first with acquisition back on the PS2 days, and Sony didn't want to buy them because they had good partners, so they weren't looking to acquire a whole bunch of studios. And Microsoft they were like, we'll take anybody. And Bungie was like, okay, we'll work with you. I mean, just imagine if Halo was a PlayStation IP and not an Xbox IP. The industries would have changed. Just imagine if Destiny was only on Xbox and not a multiplat. We'd be looking at a different conversation. I've always said this last generation. I said when Bungie made Destiny, if Destiny was an Xbox IP and exclusive, Microsoft's Xbox would have did very well.
Yo, shout out to Puerto Rock, man. Frog, this is hilarious.
And you can also find me at rooftop parties, but do not go to that bathroom, the second stall to the last, because Phil Ness is in there with the glare holes.
Frog, yo, shout out the Puerto Rock. He goes,
Puerto Rock, man.
Yo, man, he goes, Sony first party puts out the best bangers for Xbox, and he shows the original Halo. Yo, dude, I want to say, you dish it out, you're gonna get it, because everybody's slapping on that Xbox stamp onto all those Activision games and shit. Now,
and before we get out of here, I do want to put this one out there because Frogs Adamas and Jez Adamas.
Yeah.
I do propose that Sony will be buying WB. I do think that's going to happen.
Really?
I do think that's going to happen. I think
All
that's
right.
been in the works for a while.
Okay.
And there's a
Frogdamus.
Hey, when it happens, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. You're going to be like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Ooh,
it's going to happen, I think.
Okay.
But we'll see.
We'll see. But hey, I want to thank everybody again for an amazing turnout. It's a busy night. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you're new. We're almost at 1,200. Stay tuned for the Grinds Bite. We'll be doing one on Wednesday. Maybe we'll do it live in reaction to the Gran Turismo on Wednesday night. We'll see. We'll see when that is. I got to see what time that is. But we'll do
the
that.
Good, the bad. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the Xbox.
Oh, damn.
Not the other. Oh, shit.
Hit that sirens.
Good,
but anyway, thank you again, everybody. What a fire show. The gauntlets have been thrown down. Grindadamus, Frogsadamus. The Gaming Grindhouse was right. You keep it locked here for the real deal news and gaming talk. Thank you again. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Join the Grindhouse. Be a VIP grinder. And we are out. Thank you very much, everybody. Talk to you guys later.
Peace out.